What's up, Justin? Mr. Cack, how you doing, man? Good to see you. We are in a live stream, guys. Got everybody. Everybody's asleep upstairs. Thought I'd steal away for a little bit. I did hit all of my stores already, so I feel pretty good about that. I'm not buying any of that trash. It's just nothing good there. Vince V, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. No, Kyle, so I pick the rosters to an extent. So what I'll do is priority goes to anybody who's a channel member if they want to review, and then otherwise it's kind of split between channel members and super chats. Otherwise, I will do free ones if they're kind of floating around there, but try to give priority to the people who are going to end up paying for it. Justin, nice. Baby Cal to Relics. Baby Cal's huge. I absolutely love Baby Cal Kestis. He is a menace to deal with. I kind of want to buy that speed arrow, but I want to buy this because it's got offense percent. Is that bad? Like, offense percent on a secondary for me, like, I feel like I should buy that. Shitstorm, what's up, man? I'm trying to, like, I'm looking at some of these, like, this one has so much potential, but it's not showing speed, and I don't know if I'm willing to waste 2 million or 3 million credits to do it. I'm not sure that I'm not sure I'm willing to do that one. This one I definitely will do. I'll find, because I can find a use for that. I can just, like, throw it on Luthen even. Because I don't have a ton of these ones that have offense percent. Of course it rolls flat stats. Ugh, what a waste. What a waste. See, that's the problem. Like, just goes to the garbage stats. And the thing is, like, so I'm very, like, I'm different than a lot of other players I'll see. But if you guys look, like, I won't upgrade a single arrow. If you look at all my speed arrows, none of them go beyond this color. Because I know everybody will say, oh, you get more stats, you get more stats, you get more stats. But, like, I'm not willing to waste my calibrations or my, slicing materials on the hope that I'm going to roll offense and other stuff. Like, I'd rather just save that for all of these mods down here. So, like, I know there's a lot of people that do that, but, like, it's just not the way I am. But yeah, no, this is the one I'm debating purchasing. This, you know what? We'll do this. I'm gonna try this, and then we'll get into some roster reviews. I'm gonna try it. I don't know. If it doesn't roll speed, it's all your guys' fault. Yep. All your guys' fault. I shouldn't have done it. It's alright. That happens. I was expecting that. That is okay. Yeah, I wish this, like this one here, same thing. I wish I would know if it rolls offense percent or not, because I won't keep it. So, yeah, we're just not gonna, you guys can see that, like, I get very picky with my mods at this stage. Like, I don't buy anything just because it has speed on it. I've got to see all the stats on it, or else I normally won't do it at all. So, alright. So I see Moose Ross came in with, I think it's Danish Krona, if my memory's serving me properly. Is it worth keeping a mod if I'm keep calibrating it and not ramping up the speed? I mean, I have just to show you guys, like, here's a really good example of a character that I have with, so, now these are a bit cracked, but, like, this one here, so this one's got okay stats, but, like, come down here to, like, this one, it's only got 5 speed, but 16% defense. Like, I kept this, even though it doesn't have good speed, because it's got amazing defense percent, and then this one rolls, like, 19, similar situation here. rolls a ton of defense, no speed. So sometimes you can find uses for mods that don't have as good of speed on them. And then another character that's an example of like, hey, you don't have to put crazy speed on her. Somebody like Marin, whose speed is set to 0. So because her speed's set to 0, if you get mods with like crazy stats on them but no speed, just throw them on Marin because it doesn't matter what her speed is. So yeah, like there's definitely reasons that you might not need a character to have a ton of speed. Same thing with like your Dark Trooper's another good one. So he doesn't need crazy speeds. So yeah, as long as the stats are good, it can be worth to keep a mod that doesn't have a crazy amount of speed. Just find a character who needs it. So, so let's get here with Vince V, and then we'll get over here to Moose Ross. Again, guys, down here, the way the Ross reviews work, we give priority to our channel members, to super chats, and then we'll get into any free ones when we're through with whatever else we've got in the group here. All right, so here is Vince V, and then Moose Ross. So, Vince, what are we thinking here? So we've got, so you're missing Jabba, right? I see that properly. We're missing Jabba. Oops. Okay, so but you're close. You've got to be close to Jabba at this point with the bundle, right? So you're working on, looks like you're working on Fennec. You've got her Relic 1. She needs to be Relic 7. I think Aura, you're going to need her like Relic 6, I think. Jawa, okay, so you need him Relic 3. So you're doing this pretty... Doing this, all right. So what's the game plan here, Vince? We're going Jabba, and then after that, let's see here. Oops. Okay, so you don't have Leviathan yet. So I would definitely, after Jabba, because I think you're pretty close to Jabba. I would definitely get Leviathan then. I feel like Leviathan, as long as you can get, yeah, you've got Fury class. I think Leviathan's going to make the most sense immediately after Jabba. You just got Bo-Katan for the guild. That's really good. Like, dude, Bo is so good. She's, like, as soon as you can relic her, get her to relics. If you can try and push it before Grand Arena lock-in, just make sure that you do get a full, like, find another offense mod to put on here. An offense set, like, if the arrow, if you can, I'd replace that. Because you're not getting the full benefit of the offense set here. Just being very nitpicky. But yeah, I mean, you are definitely... You're an 11 million account. You're definitely running out of some stuff, but to be fair, you still have a lot of things down here you can build. You've got the new Imperial Remnants you can work on. You could build a Dasher Dar team, the Gungans, the Night Sister squad with Great Mothers. You know, you still have some good stuff that you can build here. Like, I think you've got a lot more work to go than you realize, because the other situation you got to think about too is beginning to increase relics. You know, you've got Relic 9 on Lord Vader and Master Luke, but then the rest of your GL's only Relic 7. So, working on some relics there can be a good idea as well. If you're thinking, oh, I'm running out of stuff, like, you've still got a good ways to go here. But I definitely would focus on getting Leviathan after Jabba. I feel like that's going to be your best bet. From a mod perspective, I mean, just looking at Bo, I can maybe see where you're running out a little bit. I'll do my famous speed check here. So Mara Jade going to 344. All right, where are we at with Echo? 344. Okay. All right, that's okay. So let's go to R2. 315. Okay, so we're dropping pretty significantly along the way here. From 344 down to 315. And then let's go to Second Sister here, 303. That's pretty good for no speed set. That's a pretty good speed on her for no speed set. Ooh, Revan. So I would replace Revan with an, I'd replace Revan's with a speed set here. You could put some of, like, you could put this on Bo-Katan. She might benefit from that. Nice. Lord Vader Relic 9 from Double Drops. That's legit. That's a good mod for him, too. That's a pretty solid mod. Offense, percent, and speed. I like that. Yeah, Lord Vader is a... I love Lord Vader. He's a really good GL. I don't think he gets enough love from people, but yeah, he's a very solid Galactic Legend. Very, very solid GL. Yeah, otherwise, I would say where you're at now, like, so yeah, Rey, I don't know that I like the speed set on Rey, I'm going to be honest. I like the offense and health on her. I don't know that she needs to be that fast, personally, but that's just me. But I'd say your next thing to do, Vince, is just start to work on some of that mod optimization. Look for a lot of offense percent secondaries. Those are a lot more valuable than anything else. And mods like this is a really good mod, actually. Like, that defense percent is solid. This is a really good mod. You know, that one's fine. Like, you got good speed with a low amount of, a low, like, green mods, so I like a lot of those mods there, but just kind of optimize them between the characters to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. But otherwise, Vince, I think your Jabba to Leviathan makes sense. And when I go to your Mandalorians, you have the proper characters here to take advantage of Bo, because you've got Bo, Mando, Grogu, Kryze herself, Baby Bo, and then Paz. So, like, we're good there. And then you said your JML mods are jacked up. Protection. It looks good. Oh, they're still jacked with mods. Yeah, I like the JML. Those are some good mods. I would maybe try to look for just a bit more protection if you could. Like on these two mods in particular, because you can easily squeeze out another 10,000 protection without trying too hard. So yeah, man. But otherwise, I think that's your next step here. Just, when you get to this stage, it is a lot more about, like, fine-tuning your account, building those little things that you're missing. And at this stage, the stuff you have to build does take longer. I'm not gonna lie, it does take longer, but there's a bit more reward to it because of all the extra rewards that are coming along with building those new things now, like Imperial Remnants and other stuff. So, yeah, man, it's good stuff, man. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, let's go to Moose Ross here with the 17 Danish Krona. All right, we got Moose Ross. DK Raiders. I feel like I know somebody else in that guild. I mean, I see the guilds a lot, so. All right, so we've got 10 million GP. We've got Jabba, but no Lord Vader, okay? So what are we thinking, Moose? Where are we going? I think it's Mus. Is it Mus or Moose? I always say Moose. What are we thinking here, boss man? What do we got? What do we got cooking? Absolutely, Vince. My man, thanks for hopping on. Good to see you. So, all right, we're looking here. So right away, I do think Leviathan should be in the discussion. I'm hoping I hear that, Moose. I do like that you've got the, I do like you've got Coming Pants. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, thinking Leviathan, I think so too. I would be refreshing your Sith Fighter and Interceptor. Well, Interceptor, I guess, this is a Cantina, right? I think they're both Cantina, so maybe that's your, maybe that's the best way. Let's just go to Sith here. Yeah, okay. Definitely Levi. You've got the right tools. You have this Sith Empire. You're going to benefit from getting extra relic levels there, so I don't hate that. You will need to finish off Shorty. Shorty does... I don't want to say she's... like, that he sucks, because, like, there's some good uses to Shorty. Just, the Kyratex is not fun. So you're close to Lord Vader, too. Let's take a look at that. So let's go to your Galactic Republic. Relic 5. Okay. General Skywalker's done. Where's Arc Trooper at? Arc Trooper's only Relic 3. Echo's Relic 3. What about Separatists? Nuke Gunray's Relic 5. He'd need to be Relic 8. Yeah, okay. Let's go to the Bad Batch. Yeah, yeah, Bad Batch. All right. I mean, you've made a decent bit of progress. The one thing that I would say that concerns me, right, is you need 3 more Relic 8s for Lord Vader between Padme, Arc Trooper, and then Count Dooku. And so you're going to end up spending a good bit of era magnifiers and signal data there, and you need 2 Relic 9s on Darth Revan and Malak. So you need a lot of resources to get the Leviathan, and that's the one thing that's kind of keeping me from saying go all in on Lord Vader. If you had a lot less Galactic Legends, I wouldn't feel as confident about telling you to skip out on Lord Vader. But you have Jabba, you've got, you've got GLs to take advantage of various game modes. I think we can wait on Lord Vader while we get Leviathan. Because otherwise, like, your ships, you've got them in a good place overall, in the sense that, like, your Marauder's finished, your Punishing One's in a better place than mine, you've got the Star Fortress, you've got the Common Pants, you've got the right ships at the right star levels, you've got decent relics on your pilots, like, all that's in good shape. It's just that Sith fleet that we need to kind of finish off here. I would also just recommend using some of your resources if you have ship credits. TIE Reaper's a good ship. TIE Reaper's a very good ship. Same thing with, like, Raven's Claw. You never know when you're going to need them as a cleanup. So definitely kind of one of those things that I would be paying attention to there. So yeah, Levi's definitely the biggest thing. And then I definitely like the Lord Vader shout. I think that's a good one. Otherwise, after that, maybe start considering a Bo-Katan, or you've got the Great Mothers and Morgan. Maybe building that Night Sister team out a little bit. What do your Night Sisters look like? I wouldn't hate if you ended up building out Morgan and Great Mothers eventually. Again, your Imperial Remnants could also use some work. So, I'm never gonna hate on that, especially, this is a bit like, but especially with the rest of these guys at relic levels, you get Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, get Enoch and stuff like those. The Night Sisters and Remnants are so good. Like, I use these guys in Conquest. I mean, I know recently they've been in a lot of the feats, but the Remnants are a great team in Conquest, especially because Moff Gideon can revive people. So, it's kind of, like, silly. It's, like, very, very silly. It's very, very good. Otherwise, man, I think that's kind of as far as I can give you advice that is useful, because stuff's going to change very quickly. So one thing I would say is definitely Leviathan, right? Leviathan, absolutely. After that, you have a bunch of options, and depending how long it takes you to get Leviathan, you can start thinking about whether Lord Vader makes sense or kind of building stuff for the next raid. I'm really hoping that the next raid is Imperial Remnant, the new Night Sisters, and that way you can get you can work on these characters and not feel like you're, I don't want to say missing out on something, but you're not getting behind. And then you said you're slow farming Balin and Ahsoka. Yeah, that's a good idea. And that's, I think your remnants, when I like speak about remnants, it's really the first 3 needs to be Enoch, Night Trooper, Death Trooper. Getting them for the assault battle is huge. That assault battle is so friggin' good. I mean, that is like that's a key part. So I would absolutely do that. And then otherwise, just kind of wait around and see what the rest of the situation is going to look like. Like, you've got your Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon at Relic 7, which I think for an account of this size is a genius move. Having them at Relic 7 gets you access to that good tier without a lot of extra investment going up to Relic 9. So I definitely like the Relic 7s there, man. Yeah, but seriously, keep it up. Like, this account is definitely progressing along. I like where it's heading. Yeah, otherwise, dude, I think that's what I got for you. I think you've just got to kind of, I would say, Leviathan and then the 3 remnants for the assault battle. After that, maybe think, reassess to figure out if the new raid's coming, or, you could go for Lord Vader kind of thing. So that's where my mind goes. All right, so the next one we have here is, I believe, so I see Nasty Balls with the 2 pounds. Thank you, sir. Alex Purdue with the $4.99. I think I did see we got Vince right there. Got Nasty. Hold on, I think there's one more, right? Am I missing someone? There's Vince. Trying to see. I thought I had another channel member in chat ask. I don't think so. I think I'm in good shape here. Right? Oh, Mr. Cack. That's right. Mr. Cack. I saw you're up here. Drop your ally code. Let me Shitstorm, my friend. Take care. Take care, my friend. Good seeing you. So make sure that you share your ally code like I just did, like the X's. Because when you do other stuff, it thinks you're entering like a phone number, and then it doesn't let you share your doesn't end up letting you share it. Yeah, so Mr. CAC, then we've got Nasty Balls, and then we've got Alex Purdue. Yeah, no worries, guys. Well, I've got my list sorted so far, so we're in good shape. While we wait, we hydrate. For those of you on TikTok that follow, what is that, Stale Cracker? I friggin' love that dude. Stale Cracker's the greatest. While we wait, we hydrate. Oops, that's the wrong tab. All right, Mr. CAC, let's see what we got here. Guild just started Rise of the Empire. Is my roster at a point where I should start farming Inquisitors? And I'm almost finished with Jabba Farm. What stands out to you that I should work on? P.S. I unlocked Fulcrum level 9. I have her gear 12. Is the Kron worth rushing to get her to relics? So, let's take a look at your Hut Cartel first. Okay. All right, so we're still wrapping up Jabba. The bigger question is, where are you from a Zeta perspective? Just do you have Zetas to spare or no? And the reason I say that is because going after a farm like Inquisitors is going to require a lot of Zetas. Because you need the Zetas on the actual Inquisitors themselves just to make them like half decent, right? And then you're probably going to need... You need the Zetas on these guys. Then you're going to want Zetas on Grand Inquisitor and Reva to be able to do the mission and be successful. But at 7.5 million GP, I would say that you're probably ready, as long as one thing I'll say. is depending how much of this, like how many of the bundles have you purchased? And the only reason I ask, right, because I'm looking through, like, you've got a lot of stuff down here that looks really, really good. Okay, so you're definitely short on Zetas. So that's gonna answer my question on Fulcrum. I probably wouldn't rush her to relics to get the Kron, and here's why. You don't have the Ufus to support Fulcrum, and I would much rather you spend the resources to get Ben Solo to put him with Rey. Same thing with like your Commander Tano. Like, you're missing a lot of those really, really important, impactful Zetas on this account here. Yeah, like, once you get JML situated, get this unique on Commander Tano and throw her with GL Rey. That's going to be crucial for you. Yeah, so I would say you're probably not ready for Inquisitors, if I'm honest. I say that it's a tough one, but the reason I say that is because I think just looking at the account, it looks like you have purchased some of the bundles, which again isn't a bad thing, but that a lot of your GPs kind of inflated a bit from there. And when I look down here, I see a lot of characters that I would hope you would have built simply to progress your account along in a good way. And again, that's okay. Like, you know, we've all had to be here at some point. So I don't know Inquisitors is the answer right now. Yeah, so I would put in the same, for your Ufus, right, for your unaligned force users, I would use Rey, Jedi Training Rey, Commander Tano, Ben Solo, and honestly, OG Cal Kestis. Like, that would be the team that I would use at your level. And with the right Zetas on Commander Tano and Ben Solo, like, you're gonna crush people, right? Like, that is a really, really good. The other thing that I would say that you could think about there as well is you probably bought this one as well, right? You can also throw L3 in that team, and she can be really good inside of the Rey team. L3 is a very good tank for Rey. So that's another option for you there until you would maybe get like an OG Cal Kestis type thing. Because like I said, I'm going to keep repeating it, but I don't think with you having built Gungans, I don't know that you're ready to do another farm like Inquisitors when you have a lot of like team finishing to do here. And that's okay, right? I would say that with your shard farming, one area to think about is your Sith ships. Where are they at? Like, I would get some of the Sith ships. So you've got to start thinking about Leviathan at some point here. And I would try to make that sooner rather than later. So, maybe with your shard farming, we focus on getting some of those Sith ships, because you are going to need Leviathan, right? Like, we're going to want to get ready for that. You're still a long ways off from Profundity as well, but that's okay. Like, you don't need to be right there. I'd rather you try to focus on getting the shards for Leviathan while we can. So, yeah. Hopefully that gives you, some direction. Does that make sense? Like, I think you've got a lot of good building pieces here. You're just in, this Zeta-starved, form. And we want to spend the Zetas to maybe work on that Rey team first, get her situated, and then we can kind of build some other squads from there. Yeah, I can kind of tell you've neglected ships, especially with, like, only a 4-star Executor. At least you're getting Punishing One. I would say farm Punishing One as much as you can. Definitely get your punishing one up, and that way you at least have the really solid ship to make your executor fleet a massive pain in the ass. But otherwise, I mean, for what this account is, with what I'm assuming is a lot of bundles purchased, which is okay. Just, and I'm only going off of that based on the amount of, like, the Relic 5s that I see and the quality of the mods on them, that we're just kind of throwing stuff, which is okay, right? That's smart. Like, so, yeah, man, you know, I think overall we try to head in that direction. I would put your Executor on defense, personally. I think your Executor with punishing one is going to do better than your Negotiator. So I would do that. Maybe get you some extra galactic power or some extra crystals out of your fleet arena. So I would definitely make that change. Otherwise, man, if there's more stuff that comes up, as always, as a channel member, you've got that, like, you've got the lickety split, you've got the other, you know, channel. Make sure that we can use them as much as possible. But I think right there, we're good at you just kind of ignoring Inquisitors and building out some of those core teams. Especially as you get into the Rise of the Empire, you'll notice that you want some of those Relic 7s to be able to do combat missions. Alright, so next we're moving on to some nasty balls. Alright, nasty balls. Let's see where we're at here. Gotta find I don't see your ally code, my man. Did you drop the... You put X's in the middle of it? Just waiting for him. While we wait, we hydrate. Alright, so while we're... I'll give him another minute to respond here. If we don't get that, move on to Alex Purdue. And then we've got Pappy Gringo with the 199, my friend. Thank you so much. We will get down to your roster here. It's third in line at the moment. Just waiting to see while I get an update. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'm checking the score of the Lions 49ers game here. There it is. All right, Nasty Balls showed up. That's such a fun name to say. It's almost like, you know, when I was in high school, you'd like sign like different notes and stuff, bend over or huge ass. Like, oh, it's the well-hung horseman. Oh, that is a great guild name. What a guild name. All right, Nasty. What are we thinking with the account here? What are we looking at? So we've got Jabba, Rey, Kylo. All right, we're good shape there. You've got Bane, Starkiller. So far so good. I'm liking what I see. Iden. All right, we bought the. I think that's the Tusken stuff there. Thank you, Legolas, for keeping me honest on Discord, my friend. Thank you. All right. So where are we? So, Nasty, what are we thinking here, man? What's the... I'm assuming your guild is in ROTE. Oof. All right, so we're gonna need some Sith ship love here, my friend. I've got to get you guys to farm these Sith ships. Holy hell. No, it's all right. I mean, we've got to get these Sith ships under farm. So, you're thinking Profundity next. Let's take a look, because I might not... I don't hate your Profundity shout because of how far away you are from Sith. Like, you are forever away from the Leviathan right now, at least from what I can tell. So I don't hate the shout to necessarily say, hey, let's get Profundity. If it's going to be that long for you to get Leviathan, I would still try to make it a priority. But I do think that you're going to be in a much better position if you build up the Profundity, and that way you have somewhat of a counter to the Leviathan. So I'm not going to lie, I don't hate that shout at all. Now, after Leviathan, I would definitely consider finishing off Inquisitors, especially if you have Zetas available. Like, looks like you've got them on Jabba. Like, it doesn't seem like you're hurting crazily for Zetas, I'll say, right? Because you've got them on your GLs. Just looking to see here. Do you have... What's your Proving Grounds situation? Like, you've got Ben Solo. What about Commander Tano? Do you have access to Commander Tano yet? Because that could be a... Like, am I missing her somewhere? Or, like, do we have Commander Tano yet? Are you able to use her? Because if you can, gear up Commander Tano and put her with Rey. With Zetas on her. Can't believe is that... Does that, like, I hope to see that in chat that you have her and you just haven't done it yet. I would make that priority number 1, and then I'd probably think about your, you know, getting ready for Profundity, and then potentially thinking about Inquisitors. I think those Inquisitors are just incredible. You just, okay, if you haven't unlocked Commander Tano yet, I would unlock Commander Tano. I would try to get her to relics as soon as possible. Like, she is nasty inside of that Rey team, especially if you have the Zetas, right? If you have Zetas for her, particularly the unique, her own path, it's the most important ability that she has there. Yeah, so I think if I had to say, there's a big part of me that just says I think Rogue One to Profundity is going to be faster for you than Inquisitors, because you don't have a ton of Kyrotech you're going to have to spend for this farm. Right? Like, you're not going to have a ton of extra Kyrotech to have to spend here. Comparative to, like, the Inquisitors. But you are going to have to spend some Relic 8 and Relic 9 materials, which is never fun. But, I think your account is going to need that ability to counter Leviathans. I think at 8 million GP, you're probably going to be seeing them more and more often. So having that kind of back pocket counter for, you know, with Profundity could be really important for you. And then otherwise, if I just think like more big picture at the next GL I would go for, I would not hate if you decided to try to go for Leia. Yeah, if you have next to no Zetas, it's never a good situation. Dion, good, sorry, so Nasty, this kind of goes along with what I've been, you know, saying to you. This comes from Dion here. If you don't have JMK and have Cat need to gear up, and unlocking Exile Ezra this conquest, would it be overkill putting both with GL Rey? I would put them with GL Rey. The only thing that would maybe keep me is if, with Ben Solo, I'd maybe put, like, Ben and Ezra for 3v3, and then in 5v5, you put Commander Tano in there. So that's definitely something to think about. But, Nasty, what I would say is if you're struggling on the Zetas, let's maybe focus on building the Profundity. You don't need a ton of Zetas for this team. You know, for that farm, like, we can get away with quite a few less Zetas. Maybe give you time to recuperate some that you can maybe build your Commander Tano and then get your Inquisitors up and running. Otherwise, start farming those Sith ships in the background. That's going to be another, I think, big moment for you. And then if you're finding that you're still kind of slogging through some stuff, or you're like, oh, excuse me, or still kind of like in a situation where you're like, I'm not sure what to upgrade next, maybe look at some of the characters where we do have Zetas on them and upgrade their gear. You know, Pow, Shak T, Rex, some of those characters can be really, really good to kind of gear up together and, you know, get the most out of your account. So, that's at least what I'm thinking. You know, I will say this, at your GP, if I can encourage you to do anything, it's maybe avoid stuff like this Leia to Relic 7. Don't spend any relics you don't need to spend right now. We want to try to hang on to all the relic materials that you can. And how are your mods? Let's do a quick check here. So 360 is really good on Leia. 345, okay. And then what's Master Qui-Gon at? 343, that's pretty good. All right. So let's go down to Dash. So yeah, we're not bad. We definitely have a drop off somewhere here. There's definitely a drop off at some point. There's 340. Where's our drop off at? 337. 330. Okay, so we're starting to fall a little bit there. 329. Yeah, so we're definitely, I'd say like we're really good in this range, but then we start to get down into this range and we're definitely dropping a bit. You know, you go from the 314 to 301 here, and then Kyle at 285. So we're definitely dropping. One thing I would say is like I saw Ben Solo, like those are really good mods on him. 319, like that's fast. That is a fast Ben Solo there. It's a very good Ben Solo. I'm actually very jealous of that. Mine is nowhere near this quick. So I do like that. That's a very good one. I think you do have pretty good mods overall. Like you definitely have some pretty good mods overall. Probably some that you could just continue to slice up and get better and better. So yeah, man, I think I'd say you're in pretty good shape. Like from a mod perspective on the characters that I'm seeing up here, you're in pretty good shape. I'm sure there's some where, you know, the mods aren't as great, so keep pushing. Try to use that trickle-down modding method to get some of those okay mods from your really good characters and keep moving them down and make the entire account better at once. But yeah, man, I think it's kind of a review we got going on there. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. All right, next is Alex Purdue with the $4.99. We fight for Jesus. I love it. Let's go, man. All right, what are we thinking, Alex? Sorry, I need to get you to just give me a bit more information there. Just so I know where to go from, because I can give you any kind of random thing. Oof, pain. Okay, sorry. Pain. The Omicron Inquisitors is pain. That is some pain right there. Well, I'm glad there's somebody here who has Inquisitors. All right, so, ooh, Great Mothers. Wow, okay. All right, so we're very, oh, Sith Eternal, okay. Any other surprises lingering down here that I need to know about? Dr. Aphra. All right, who should you go for and who should you farm next? All right. Well, so what's your Zeta situation like? Just unlock Bane and Sith Eternal. All right, so let's... Number one. Let's get Bane to Relics before we get Sith Eternal to Relics. Gosh, that's brutal. So, I would definitely get Darth Bane to Relics first. Darth Bane to Relics should be your first priority. So, once we get Darth Bane to Relics, you're saying Zetas are low. So, then let's focus on getting, like, a Savaja press up to Relics. Like, you have a lot of these. You're in this position where you have a lot of stuff down here that's, like, Gear 12. Like, Jedi Knight Luke. You know, that could be a decent character to take to Relics. Great Mothers, you invested in her. Like, if you have some of these characters that you've invested Zetas into, let's build them up. Let's see, who else do we got in here that, you know, yeah, so what's... I would definitely farm Zori. I'd farm Zori's shards. You've got a Zeta on her. I definitely would farm her shards. Alright, and you've got Kylo and Rey. And you got Commander Tano. Alright, let's... alright, so... Man, I need to do a Commander Tano video. I've seen a lot of people... I would have done her own path before Force Leap. Force Leap's the insta-kill, but without Jedi Master Kenobi, it takes forever to get that insta-kill. I would have put that on the unique. The unique's, in my opinion, much more important. When do you get Ben Solo? So... I would definitely be considering Ben Solo somewhere whenever you do get him. Man. So here's what I think I'm going to do. Here's what I would do if I was you. I would, if we're really low on Zetas, let's focus our investment into characters where we have Zetas equipped already, starting with Bane, then going over and getting like Savage, Great Mothers, Jedi Knight Luke, and then eventually starting to save our Zetas to get Sith Eternal. Regardless of what I think, he is a galactic legend. We do want his Zetas. But he will, I think, go behind Ben Solo. I do want you to get Ben Solo. The thing with... This is the problem, right? With Sith Eternal Emperor, he doesn't... Like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of his. Offensively, like, he can do some good stuff, but... Bane, Ben, Cat, they're all a little bit more important than him. So I would argue that your Zetas and investment should go to those three, and then we worry about Sith Eternal when we can. The thing is, Sith Eternal is fairly easy to gear up, so he shouldn't be a super hard character to relic, but not having the Zetas is misery. It definitely is, it's definitely not fun. I don't know what he can and can't beat without Zetas. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know what he can and can't beat without the Zetas. Otherwise, from like a ship perspective here, man, so where are you in regard to how close are you to being able to get Executor? Like, do you have the resources to be able to get Executor? Because I would definitely do that. I would definitely consider getting Executor. I'm just looking here at your account, and it's just kind of like sticking out to me like a sore thumb. That you don't have Executor. So if you can... maybe think about getting Executor. Oh, excuse me. At some point here, I think that'll be really, really, really important. It'll just take you to another level. So, now that I see that, I think I go Bane, get Executor, and then I think we circle back. I think Bane, then Executor. Yeah, I mean, so the only thing is, right, yes, you only need Relic levels on 4 tunes, but 2 of them need to go from Relic 5 to Relic 8. Right, which is not fun. And then you need, 2 Relic 5s. So you need 2 Relic 8s and 2 Relic 5s, which it's not impossible, but it's not like it's a walk in the park either. I don't know what your signal data situation looks like either. But just some food for thought there as we kind of continue the game a little bit, as you kind of continue through. But I would still get Darth Bane first, and then let's maybe focus on getting the rest of our Executor requirements out of the way. That's kind of your best bet here. So hopefully that helps a bit. Otherwise with Ray, yeah, so don't, okay, I'm sorry about to do this, but you should never have taken this mod higher than level 12. Once you saw that it doesn't roll speed, we just need to pretend mods like this don't exist. Any speed mod that doesn't have a speed secondary is just, I mean, it's just useless. So, we can maybe work on that, just kind of getting better in some of those areas that can be very helpful to your account. Just, yeah, like, stay away from mods like this. We don't want, you want to have, you know, the offense, you want to have the speed wherever we can. So, I don't try to light people up too much, but got to make sure that we're upgrading the right mods, because you could have a lot better mods in some of those areas if we just, focused on the speed secondaries a little bit. So anything that doesn't have a speed secondary, let's just ignore. Just not worth having that as in the account. It just takes up space. But anyway, I think that's the review here. Again, it's very hard to do these with a lot of the bundles, because a lot of it's kind of up to what direction you want to go to, and kind of figuring out how your Zeta crunch fits into everything else that you're trying to do. But I still think trying to secure the bag in Fleet Arena needs to be priority one for a lot of accounts. But then you kind of have Darth Bane sitting there, and it's like, well, maybe we should get Darth Bane, because that dude just is an instant win in, like, everything. So, Darth Bane, and then let's get that bag in Fleet Arena, kind of finishing up some of those things where you've already got Zetas invested. And that way, the next big farm that you do, whether it's a Galactic Legend or something, you have some Zetas stockpiled from the time that you weren't actively equipping them. So, that's the review, my friend. Hopefully that helps get you along the way. Alright, next on the list here for a paid review, we've got Pappy Gringo. Let's see what we got cooking, my friend. Alright, so we got a new account here. It's a very new account. Alright, so I'm just going to say it right now. Please don't equip any more Zetas, because your first two were no. No more, we should have, your first Zeta should have been on Merciless Massacre. And the second one probably should have been on Lost Commander. So those need to be your next two Zetas. Please no more equipping Zetas. So, let's, yeah, I mean, so, like, you didn't need to do that for the CLS event. I did the CLS event with a hell of a lot less stuff than that. Yeah, I'm not, because those two, Leia, like Princess Leia, I don't think I've ever actually used in a GAC. Stormtrooper Han I have seen used, but yeah, I would have put that on the Phoenix team and the Darth Vader. That's just, again, lessons. You're early on. It's not irreparable damage, but I would definitely focus on those ones. It just will help you a lot more. Other thing I would say is with your credits, let's kind of back off on some of these levels. Like, these Peridia characters, like, don't put any levels on these guys. Like, you have some credits sitting down here that are just kind of wasted a little bit. Again, not trying to rip you apart. Like, not trying to rip you apart, but, like, some of this stuff in here just, it doesn't make sense. You don't need to invest credits into every single character. Only invest the credits in the ones that you're going to be using. And then ships-wise, like, I think ships is kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, you know, we do what we can. Looks like you're using home one with rebels, which I don't hate. You know, that's a fine tactic. One maybe thing to think about is getting Biggs's X-Wing. And then you can kind of pair Biggs's X-Wing with Darth Vader's ship, and you can get some target lock synergy running. That can be a good tactic at times. But yeah, you're still really in your infancy here. You've still got a long way to go. So just keep grinding, you know, keep kind of watching that stuff. Be really careful with your Zetas. Even, you know, obviously I said, hey, for Darth Vader, for Captain Rex, you know, those ones make sense. But after that, I would really reach out to people to ask what Zetas are going to be the most impactful for your account. Because, like, I hate the 2 you're down going in the same team is, I'm not going to lie, never a good sign. Simply because somebody with a decent character might be able to clear that entire team, and now you're down 2 Zetas. So, just want you to think that through for perspective. Otherwise, yeah, just keep building your stuff out, keep building your teams. Like, you're on the right path. You just have a long way to go. So, otherwise, the only thing I would maybe think about doing here is farming just speed, health, and offense mods. I would ignore kind of any other stats other than the speed sets, the health sets, and the offense sets. That would be your next goal. Just kind of build up your mod inventory. Don't put too much into mods that don't have speed secondary. Like this one is a very, like that's worth keeping. This one, very much worth keeping. This one, no. Don't worry about it. This one, no. So only, you know, only if it's got speed do we care, right? If it doesn't have speed, you know, get the Stephen A. Smith gif out, you know. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. So yeah, man, that's the review. Hopefully that helps kind of get you going in the right direction. Yeah, definitely just try to find the mods that got speed on them. And like, if a mod doesn't have speed on it, right? Here's something like you can consider here. If a mod doesn't have speed on it, just like ditch it. Just like, you can take it to level 12 to get some stats out of it, but don't take it to 15. Don't use those credits. Save those credits for your characters, for the mods that are going to make a difference. So, again, hopefully that all helps you, my friend. I appreciate obviously, always appreciate the super chats, but hopefully that advice helps you kind of progress that account along here and get you into that later part of the game when things get fun. All right. All right, next we have the Almighty Elm with another $1.99 donation here. All right, Almighty, what are we thinking about here for, where's the account heading? 4.8 million GP. You've got Profundity. Wow. All right, Profundity, no Executor. Interesting. Wow. I don't know if I've seen that yet. Maybe I have, but I don't know at this low a GP if I have. Looks like we can get Jabba. Wow, you've got Luthen already. Holy crap. So we've got Darth Malgus. Okay, a lot of Gear 12s. All right, Almighty. So what are you thinking about going into Jabba after rounding out Luthen and Starkiller? All right, so let's do this first. So when you say rounding out Luthen, what are you referring to building like the Saw Gerrera team, or are we just throwing him with like Mon Mothma? You know, is that like what's the game plan with Luthen there? We just like throwing him with Mothma and letting it go? Because if that's the case, I'm more on board with that. I mean, you did invest a lot into him, so if you have to go do the Saw Gerrera chat or Saw Gerrera like path, I think that's fine. But I'd be more hesitant the other way. Sorry guys, I'm trying to stretch out a little bit here. Mon with Kyle, yeah. I think that's a you've got Mon Mothma there. I think that's good. That's a good plan there. I like that. And then you said rounding out Starkiller. So we need to finish off Mara Jade. Okay, you have Darth Talon done. I think I saw Kyle's at least gear 12, right? Kyle's gear 12. Dash is Relic 7. All right, yeah. So I don't hate going after Starkiller. Starkiller is a very good character. The only thing with Starkiller, you need to Relic Emperor Palpatine. You could probably just use Jedi Training Rey for now, to be honest. Like, I don't know that that's... It's not like you have to use Visas Mar. Like, Jedi Training Rey will fill that role perfectly fine. Hell, even OG Cal, if you decide to level him up some more, he can be a great addition to that team. And then I think you would have Old Ben. Yeah, you've got Old Ben already, so we don't need to worry there either. So you're in pretty decent shape, all things considered there. So yeah, I see Malgus there. Yeah, okay. And then you said thinking about going into Jabba. Cal would absolutely be better than Visas Mar in the Starkiller team. Visas, the reason why Visas Mar is there is because when the Starkiller team first became a thing, there wasn't that many light side unaligned force users. Like, there wasn't enough of them that you really had an option. Like, you had JTR, Stick Ray, and, like, Visas Mar. Like, there wasn't a lot of light side unaligned force users. But Baby Cal can be very good in that team, especially with, you know, some of the protection up stuff and, you know, providing heals. Like, he can do some really good things here. So all unaligned force user allies gain extra max health and tenacity. Whenever they're critically hit, they and Cal recover 5% health and protection. If they're a light side, dark side, they also gain protection up. So they can gain a lot of extra stuff, you know, survivability there that can really make that Starkiller team much more challenging to beat. So I do like Baby Cal. And the nice thing with Baby Cal is you don't need the Zetas on him, right? You will want mods on him and stuff, but you won't need the Zetas to put him inside of a Starkiller team. But, you know, for the time being, if you used JTR, it's not the end of the world. That's still a, you know, decent character to use with that team. Yeah, like, Wombat and I did every single Proving Grounds mission with, like, Starkiller and Baby Cal. I remember doing that. Sorry, just checking the NFL score. Nice, okay. Yeah, so I would definitely consider Baby Cal over Visas. And that'll save you the time of having to farm Visas Mar. And then you said Jabba. So let's get to Jabba here. Let's look at this. So, yeah, we're closing in. One thing to consider here would be Embo eventually. I would consider trying to get him. You know, Embo can make a big difference to the Jabba team. Doesn't need to happen overnight, but just some food for thought. Looking here just to see, is there any other... And then after Jabba, I would say just consider whether chasing some of the new content may be beneficial for your account, or if it makes more sense to, oh, my headphones are going to die here, and that's never a good thing. Otherwise, I would maybe consider, trying to, get Executor. You know, I think that you have Profundity. The only thing that concerns me with Profundity is that Punishing One exists now. So it's going to get harder and harder for you to climb without having an Executor of your own. So I feel like that's the one thing there. Now, the other argument I could make, right, is you have Malgus. Now, you do not yet have the Fury Class Interceptor. But if you could somehow get Fury Class Interceptor and say, Phil, screw Executor, I'm going to go straight for Leviathan, I don't hate that either. Like, if you have access to do it, go for it. You know, you have the Sith Empire in place to kind of make that a possibility. So if you want to really go for a ballsy move, I'd definitely consider going for Leviathan. And if you can beat your Fleet Shard to it, like, that'll be even better. That's all right. 220 shards. You're only... I mean, that's only, what, like 6 months away? So it's not like you're super far away from that being a reality. You know, and you can speed that up if you had to, if you saved your crystals and stuff. But, like, I would recommend trying to go for that. Because of... If you had Executor, I'd give you a little bit more holdover. But with just Profundity, it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher to get good crystals out of Fleet Arena. And your crystals need to be the first thing we shore up. Because as I said in the video today, you know, it's a resource. Like, your crystal is a resource I worry about a lot. You know, if you don't have the crystal income, everything else gets more challenging. So, let's just take a quick speed check here. Let's see where we're at. 352 is good. 336, all right. 294. All right, so we're sacrificing, by the time you get through a lot of these, we're sacrificing some pretty insane speed. Yeah, 308. $328. Yeah, so the one thing I'd maybe just consider is, like, some of these teams might not need quite as much speed for you, and trying to spread that around a little bit. Again, not that you can't keep them on there and it still messes people up, but I would just try to spread them out a little bit more, simply because the account might your account might benefit more from having a few really fast teams than one, like, slower team. Or, like, than having one super fast team and one, like, slower team. You know, we want to kind of have that parity. So definitely just some food for thought there. Does that kind of get all your questions out of the way? Is there anything else that I didn't cover that you were hoping I would cover? Oh. Give you another minute here to respond, because I know there's a delay at some point. All right, I think that's what I've got there. So now I see Wombat asking who he should Relic 9 next. Oh boy. I feel like there's going to be something in here to piss me off. Awesome, Almighty. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. Glad to, hopefully give you some advice to, help you kind of progress through. All right, your next Relic 9 Wombat. I don't know why. How do you have every GL Relic 9 except Kenobi? Like, what the hell? Okay, you got Profundity, you have Executor. This account has more Relic 9s than I do. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't know that you Relic 9 anybody. Wombat, like, I don't think the Relic 9 makes sense. Save the Relic materials for all this new stuff. Like, this account has, like, this account has a lot of the great big things. Like, you've got all these great Relic levels and stuff. But, you start scrolling down a little bit, and you're no Remnants, no Great Mother Team. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's where your benefit should be. No Trench? Like, come on, dude. What are we doing here? But I would save that Relic 9. No Bo-Katan either. Like, I would definitely save those resources, because I just don't know that. I feel like that Relic 9 could come back to bite you in the ass a little bit, with how many more relics you need to add into this account. I mean, just looking here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's Merrick at? 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, you're looking at like a bunch of Relic 7s you've got to do. So I would just save that Relic 9. Save the resources, wait around, figure out what the hell else is coming. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a disaster. Otherwise, you're not going to have stuff to do what you need to do at a certain point. I feel like you knew that would be my answer too. Like, I almost never encourage people to make Relic 9 upgrades. We all know that. I mean, if you're chasing Ahsoka, then go for your Commander Tano and stuff. But otherwise, like, just don't. I'd save your resources. If you have all of her, all right, well then save it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, just save it. You're gonna need the signal data. Wyatt, would it be worth using Cat, Cal, and Seer with Rey? Yes. Cat and Cal with Rey is such a, like, just ridiculous combination. The compliments that Cat provides that team cannot be understated. I feel like I need to make a, like, make a Cat video, because I've seen a lot of people asking that question of where do you put Cat, and, putting Zetas on the Force Leap rather than putting them on her own path. So maybe I gotta do a video on that. So I should roast mods. Dude, I won't hold back on you, Wombat. I hope you know that. Alright, so Kylo's fast, and that's about it. So you have a critical damage. You don't have a ton of offense. You have a Relic 9 Kylo with 140,000 speed, 587 speed, 147,000 health, and 10,000 damage. Let's just compare to, I don't know, some random account that I'm going to pull up off the street. Oh, this one looks good. Let's just pull up to this Relic 8 Kylo. Oh, not as much speed, but 13,000 more health, 2,000 more damage, and only at Relic 8. So, let's, like, cut the speed on the Kylo. You don't need that much speed if, he can't hit hard enough to do anything. JML, that's fine. Speed is where it should be. Protection's fine. Potency over health, I'm not gonna cry over that. That is what it is. We're not too concerned there. Alright, Ray. 230,000 health is good. 500 speed, right on the line. 12,000 damage. That's a very solid Ray. I'd say the only thing there is I would replace this with a health primary. And then get a lot more health out of her. But 12,700 is that's a very strong Ray. That's a pretty good Ray. I think that's probably more than mine has at Relic 8, right? I think I'm only at like 11.9. Yeah. So, definitely more offense on your Ray. It's a pretty well modded Ray. Getting that benefit from the Relic 9 is why you're able to keep your health so high. But yeah, it's a very good Ray. I can't argue against the Ray there. Let's go to the GOAT of GLs, Lord Vader. He's way too slow. 552 is way too slow. That's like painfully slow. A lot of protection is fine. Right? A lot of protection's fine. No extra critical damage. That's okay. I'd say the only thing there is I'm just looking at the offense numbers might be a little bit lower than what they should be. 11.2 for Relic 9. Just compared to another random account off the street. So I'm at 11.2. So you're getting a lot of benefit from that Relic 9 there. But protection, speed-wise, like I have more speed, and I would say mine's under speed. Like I have some mods on here that I just need to adjust the speed on. But yeah, I would potentially, for a Relic 9, I would expect Lord Vader to have a bit more offense than that. And because, and here's why I say that, right? I'm being nitpicky there. Because you're not running that crit damage triangle, right? If you're not running the crit damage triangle, you've got to get more offense on this guy, or else it just doesn't matter. Yeah, 11.2. Hold on, wait, you're at 11.2? What the hell was I looking at? What number am I supposed to beat? Yeah, I'm at the same amount of offense as you, and I'm at Relic 8. So you bump me up to Relic 9, and I'm surpassing that. So that's why I'm getting on there. It's just trying to do a little bit of a... He asked for a roast, and this is what I do to those who I love. So let's go to somebody else. Let's go to... Let's go to Starkiller. 288. Okay. Offense. Crit damage. Alright. Health. So he could definitely use some more offense. Yeah. Definitely remod. I mean, you probably need remods on a lot of these guys. I'm just going, like, if I look at the... Let's go to, like, physical damage. So, yeah, here's Snips. Snips is a good example here. So, 75,000 health with 11,900 physical offense, right? Now, she has Relic 9, so you're getting a lot of extra offense there. But, like, I went with a more health-based approach, right? So, I've got, like, 90 some odd, almost 100,000 health. But I'm not that far away on the physical offense, and that's all just from going with, like, secondaries. And again, the reason why we do that is because in that Jedi Master Kenobi team, you hammer down Snips. So again, you say share account. I know, I'm just ripping it apart because you asked me to. I know that I know what your account does and doesn't look like. So, yeah, I would just say with an account like that, focus on remodding the big stuff first, and then maybe think about some of those characters that are going to make a massive difference between success and not in various game modes. And then I'm just going to pick on, like, Chrysanthemum. So I like... So, yeah. No more slicing defense mods that don't have defense percent. No more slicing defense, like... No more slicing defense mods that don't have defense percent secondaries. Like, you're sacrificing... Just think of it like this, right? You're sacrificing a 10% max health for 25% defense. But you're not actually helping yourself with any... Like, you've got 75% defense on there, right? And let's see, what's your armor at? So it's at 77%. I'll check your Reva in a second here. So my Chrysanthemum's not going to have near that because we're only Relic 7. And that one's Relic 9. But you look, I'm 72%. So you bump me up 2 more Relic levels, and we're going to have significantly more armor, and I'm only on 1 defense set rather than 2. And that's just because we're utilizing the secondaries where we can. Not saying he's got the greatest defense percent secondaries, but they're not awful. So if you're going to try to double down on defense, that's great, but we need to, you know, those sets are doing some good stuff, but you got to have the secondaries to back it up. All right, I'll look at Reva, and then I'm going to move on here to see who else wants some reviews here. I saw Legolas in the chat. I don't hate Reva. I mean, she's fast enough. Just, that one's fine. That one's fine. That one's not. We shouldn't have upgraded this. No offense set should ever have 0 offense percent on the secondary, unless it's got it on the primary. So just make sure we're kind of trying to do the matching principle there. And then you want Ezra real quick. Let's do Ezra real quick. How fast is he? 150, no speed set is pretty good. That's a pretty solid Ezra. Yeah, I mean, primaries are fine. Not saying they're great. We just lost the audio, didn't we? That sucks. That's okay. Do this the old way. No audio. No background music, I should say. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate, again, just another defense set that has no, like, defense secondaries. I'm not as worried about the primary. Ezra's, it is what it is. Like, the double defense, if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. We could put a speed set on him to overcome some of this stuff. But to get him at 150 speed without a speed set is still nice. I mean, I don't hate defense mods. Like, I love defense mods. You guys know I love defense mods. Just pair them up with a defense percent secondary. You know, and we definitely want to avoid the primary. And the reason we avoid the primary, for those of you who are newer to the channel or haven't heard me go on this tirade before about defense percent. So, the reason you avoid defense percent as a primary is because of the amount that you can get on the secondary stat here. When you look at the slice on these, now this is not a great defense mod in terms of slicing, so let's just go here and sort by defense percent and sort by the secondary. So, like, look at this one on Night Trooper here. So I've got 16% defense. Just to put that into perspective, the primary for defense is 20%. So I'm almost at a full defense primary with all of these extra stats. A full offense primary, some potency, some speed. So by using defense on the secondary stat, you can get a lot more on the primary. Offense percent and defense percent are the 2 most valuable secondaries in terms of being able to get them as close to the primary as possible. Right, when you switch over here to, like, see if I can find an offense percent secondary somewhere. Offense percent, offense. It's going to be tough to find. I normally don't pair up offense and defense together very much. There we go. So with offense, if you multiply 1.7 by 5, you're going to get 8.5%, which marries up to the, primary for offense. So that's one of the things with, defense modding and offense modding, trying to use them on the secondaries as much as you can, and you still get a full primary out of your account. So just some food for thought there on why I am very, very adamant on that. All right, Justin, who should we put on defense on your small account? Well, if it's the account I'm thinking of, you can just put Riva and nothing else. I hate this account so much. This is such a stupid account. This is a beyond ridiculous account for 1.5 million. Like, these are the accounts that ruin Swago experience for everybody. But it's hilarious at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I'm throwing Riva on defense. I'm 100% throwing Riva on defense. I'm throwing Tuskens on defense. Hell, I'm probably throwing Dash and L3 and, like, Hondo on defense. I mean, yeah, I'm going to do some stupid stuff. I'd even throw, like, the other, like, OG Inquisitors, just, like, the random ones on defense, just to screw with people. I honestly would say, too, I wouldn't hate if you threw, like, Night Sisters with, like, Marin on there. I feel like people aren't going to know what to do against this account. They're not going to know what to do against Riva anyways. But add in the other stuff, and they're just going to be like, I have no clue what to do. Account that... This is... Yeah, no. Do not let him... Do not make his head any bigger than it already is. Dash or Omicron Qui-Gon? Dash. This is the one thing with Omicron Qui-Gon on defense. Very honestly, with Qui-Gon, it's kind of like reminds me of the I love Game of Thrones, and if you remember the Battle of Blackwater Bay, and Tyrion pulls the trick with the wildfire, where he he, like, lights Blackwater Bay on fire. And Stannis is like, yep, the imp has played his trick like it was a one-time thing. And that's kind of what Qui-Gon Jinn is. He's a one-time trick. You get your hold with Qui-Gon, they kill him, and then Jedi Knight Anakin blasts your team apart. So you can maybe get, one hold out of Qui-Gon. But Dash can hold for forever, especially with Vandor and L3 in there. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know that you need the Datacrons, but it's still funny that you have them. That's definitely... you gotta re-roll this. Come on. You gotta re-roll that. Get the dark side. 15% max health and protection. Just to throw that with your Inquisitors, and nobody... There should be very few people who can clear that. Yeah, otherwise, man, I mean, you know, like, this is just such a silly account. This is such a silly account. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you had the chance to put, like, extra Mandalorians with Gar and Imperial Super Commando, like, having those two is really, really funny, too. That's, like, an instant win for you in a lot of battles, I'm sure. But, yeah, I would just throw, like, a couple of random teams on there. People aren't gonna clear them. Your back walls can be whatever you want. You put Riva in front of them, it's not gonna matter. In fact, for ships, I would make sure you put, like, your weakest ships. Like, I'd throw, like, Home 1 with Consular, Resistance X-Wing, and, like, the Y-Wing. Like, I would just throw the weakest ships on defense, and that way you at least have something for offense. Like, concede ships, it doesn't matter. Clear everything else, and hopefully you can win. So that's what I'm thinking there. Does that answer your question? Going for Jedi Knight, Cal Kestis, and Bo-Katan before 2 million GP. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. I'm going to be honest, though. I don't know that Jedi Cal makes sense. I don't know that Jedi Cal makes sense. You don't really have the Jedi to take advantage of Jedi Cal. It's a cool thing to say. but you don't have anything that actually benefits from Jedi Cal. Like building Mandalorians is fine, right? Like getting your Mandos is great. Like I would do that, but I don't know that getting Cal actually helps this account other than just for the memes. You've got bigger. I feel like we've got bigger fish to fry there. So, I mean, that's what I got here. Of course, man. Happy to help. So, Brandon, yeah, we did. So, we're waiting to see if any other channel members want to get a review. Otherwise, Super Chats is the, I do like my mods. My mods kind of get them. They do a lot of work behind the scenes for me. Yeah, so we do, the free reviews happen. I kind of open up the floodgates at some point, depending on how much longer I stream here, but I try to get through Super Chats and channel members first, so I'm going to open up the floor to any other channel members that may want a review here before trying to open up any floodgates or get to any other paid reviews that come through the door here. While I wait for that, I'm going to grab another, gotta hydrate. Johnny boy, you'd like a quick review? Go ahead, man. Drop the code. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's get going here, man. Make sure you guys like the stream. If you have not liked the stream yet, please make sure we like that stream. Liking the stream helps a ton, guys. In case you didn't know, liking this stuff is massive. Allie, how you doing? Good to see you. Is this thing on? Oops. There we go. All right, Johnny. Well, where's the drop your code, my friend? Oh, Glue. That's right. I did see Glue earlier. I did see you earlier. Sorry. All right, so we've got Glue, and then we're going to be going for Johnny Boy here. I knew there was a channel member somewhere. I'm glad you reposted that, Glue. Just scream at me next time. Just, like, scream at me. All right, so we got... Hey, hold on. Got to go out to my favorite part of this account. This is my favorite part. Hey, would you blow me? God, I love that so much. It's so friggin' funny. Every time I read that, oh, it just transports me right back to high school. I friggin' love it, dude. It's the greatest. Oh, it's the greatest. So, really struggling to determine a clear path forward for my account. Just finished Jabba, Ben Solo, and now have a lot of potential teams just sitting from Lightspeed bundles that I don't have Zetas for. I'm also only a few relic levels away and some Gear 12 offs at the Eternal, and also very close to Leia. I'll have Bane and BDSM Ray after next conquest, so currently saving for that. What should I prioritize? Prioritize Bane and BDSM Ray. Those are the two things I would prioritize. You've got Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and then Bane just goes with any Sith that you have. You don't even need to use him with Sith Eternal. I would focus on those two things first. Like, that's 1000% what I would do, is focus on those two things. Because I think one is a lifter for Kylo that's going to potentially bring him to a level where he isn't currently. And then Bane kind of beats everything else that maybe, Kylo won't be able to beat. So get those two. It's going to be a lot of Zetas, but that's okay, right? We're okay. I'm okay spending a lot of Zetas on things like that, where you're really kind of making a massive, splash, a big impact on the account. I did just want to look here, see where we're at there. Okay, so now you have your scoundrels. So Commander Tano, we're also gonna put her on your list. So I would try to get Commander Tano to also go along with your Ray team, right? So you have like 3 conquest units that I would go for here. And with those conquest units, here's the thing. With Commander to Ahsoka Tano especially, her own path, this is going to be the most important Zeta on her. Go here. This is the most important Zeta that you want to put on her, because what that turns into is if another light side, unaligned force user, Galactic Republic, or Scoundrels present, she gains max health and defense and shares the bonuses to all of those stats. So this becomes 50% offense, critical damage, health, and defense for Galactic Legends Rey and her team. So I would 1000% put Ahsoka on your list as well. I don't think I would move her above Rey and Bane, but she needs to be on that list. So those are your next, Zetas ironed out, is those ones. So once you do that, let's kind of look here and see where we can maybe make some changes, make some plays. So, let's just see. Do we have any Zetas? I did see we have Zetas on Padme equipped. I wouldn't hate this. I wouldn't hate going for Padme for you. Padme would be an excellent addition to your account. You've got the Zeta on Snips. You've got it on General Kenobi. Got him on Padme. So you can make a nice little Galactic Republic team there. That'll be a pretty solid team, to be honest. I'm not going to say 5-0 first, because while you do have 5s, you would need to do the other clones and General Skywalker's 4 Zetas, which is a lot, and I know you're kind of, starving for them right now. If you went for General Grievous 2 relic levels, I wouldn't really tell you you're wrong, because you've invested in B2, B1, Magna Guard, Droideka. Droideka doesn't have a Zeta, but you have made some investments there, so I don't hate that decision if you went for Grievous. Man, yeah, you really are short in Zetas, because you've got Malicos there as well, but you don't. The thing with Malicos, the reason I'm okay with kind of seeing Malicos here is because your Seer Junda is only gear 12 with no Zetas as well. So I'm not sweating that one. So once you kind of catch up on those conquest units, maybe you get your Padme and Grievous, I'd kind of look at your ships. So I think ships is going to be that next stage for you, where I'd maybe start thinking about getting the ships ready for Leviathan. I think Leviathan, I've said it a lot tonight, and I feel like I should, I gotta get this out on the channel. I feel like a really good decision for a lot of you would just be to build Leviathan because you're short on Zetas. And that sounds crazy, because some of those characters need their Zetas, but the amount of time you're going to spend putting into Sith Fighter here, your Extinction class bomber, getting the rest of your Sith Empire fleet up and running, I feel like you would just accumulate enough Zetas during that time that you might be able to start up another farm then. And the Sith Empire is obviously a very good faction too, so it's not like you're, they do need Zetas, but hopefully during that time you can accumulate enough of them. Because, at your galactic power, I would assume you're getting, I'd assume at your GP, you're getting enough Zeta mats that it's not like you're, I don't want to say you're crazy behind, but, you're getting enough of them in a month where getting a 3 Zeta character doesn't take you multiple months. It's probably like, hey, in a single month, you're probably getting more than 60 Zeta mats. So I would definitely just consider that kind of stuff for a little bit. Just, you know, get some of these conquest characters that you're going to be unlocking between Rey, Bane, Ahsoka. Get their Zetas, and you don't even need to do all of them for Commander Tano. I would just get her own path is honestly the one that I would do. I wouldn't worry about these two for now. And then we can, you can worry about them at a later time. That can kind of save you some Zetas. You don't really need the other two Zetas until you're inside of the Jedi Master Kenobi team. I don't think I'm trying to remember what Sheen does. Yeah, I just don't think this is, especially without Kenobi, she doesn't use the Force Leap ability enough. So, like, these two kind of go hand in hand where it's just not worth doing these until you get Jedi Master Kenobi. So, yeah, you can ignore, get the one for Commander Tano, and that's it. That's going to save you a lot of time, and hopefully get you on that path of doing some other Zetas soon. You've got Punishing One to max stars, which is good. Executor kind of working along there. You do have the Profundity as well. I would say Profundity might start being worth doing some refreshes if you're beginning to see some Leviathans in your shard. Only because Profundity is a much better counter than Executor is. Otherwise, I would say just kind of start otherwise, if I was you, I'd probably just focus more on trying to maybe increase some relics. If you're still like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough Zetas for anything, I'd maybe just worry about increasing some relics on some teams to maybe get, the whole Commander Luke Skywalker team up to like Relic 7. Maybe think about getting your Hutt Cartel up to Relic 7. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'd think about if you're still short on Zetas, is build out some of those squads to higher relic levels, and during that time, you're saving Zetas to be able to equip to other teams. So that's what I would do there. I hope that kind of, helps you glue a little bit. I know without these bundles have been really nice, but they definitely have not done us any favors on Zetas, and I think for accounts that were a bit smaller and, kind of like I would argue when I was this size, I was still gaining Zetas compared to the rate they were being released. So, it's hard, right? To have these characters and know that you don't have Zetas can be really, really, devastating. So, hopefully that answers enough of your questions there. Let's get to Johnny Boy. Did you get your code in here for the review? Get your code in for your Ross review, my friend? So, TB, how much longer are you doing Ross reviews for? I don't know. I kind of just do them until I end up, I eventually just start, I'll literally start rambling about something that has nothing to do. Like, the other day I said, Spider-Man during one of the reviews, and it was like, all right, it's time to call this a night. How do I do them? I mean, I just kind of do it. All right, while we were waiting on we got $10 from Robbie James. 10 pounds, I should say. Hey, Phil. I know we talk a lot in Discord. Just keen to flash up the roster in case there's anything missing. Focus now on Inquisitors with Reva on the way. 2 months. Let's check it out, Robbie. I think I've got your code, right? Got it somewhere here, I think. Is it in here? Thought I had it. Can you send me your, can you drop that ally code, Robbie? I swear I had it somewhere, my man. Are you on my ally list? Did you happen to make that cut or no? I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. I need to clean up that list. There's a bunch of people on there. Yeah, you just drop your code like Teacher Man did, like right above you, where he's got the, you know, X's and everything. All right, we got Johnny Boy. All right, just Robbie, just make sure you guys put like the X's in between it. Sometimes it treats it like a phone number, and that kind of causes a problem. So we'll get to Johnny Boy here while I'm waiting from the code for Robbie there from the 10 pounds. All right, so we got Johnny Boy channel member here. Sigma Tau, so he's in a very good alliance, obviously. You know. So, all right, Robbie, there's your code. We got Robbie coming up next. All right, Johnny, so let's pop open. I want to pop open your ships quick and just see. All right, you've got all the major ships. Good. You got a larger account than me. So where are we? Lord Vader's the one GL that you're missing. Are you waiting on a Bad Batch bundle, or are you willing to build them up regardless? What's the situation there? How are we feeling towards wanting to work on Lord Vader, or are you just going all in on Ahsoka? Like, do we not care about that, and we're just gonna go crazy on Ahsoka? Okay, going for Ahsoka. I don't hate that strategy at all. I like that strategy a lot, actually. Waiting on a Bad Batch, that makes sense. I respect it. I think especially for an account of your size, that makes a ton of sense, because you're probably in a position where, I would guess, like, just looking here, you have Zetas on them, you're kind of good to go. Like, you don't have too much more worrying to do there. Going Balin after Ahsoka, I'm okay with that. That's fine. I'm going Balin before Ahsoka, but I have a bit more progress. So one thing I will say here, Johnny, get Ezra Bridger up to relic levels and throw him with Rey. So you've got to get that going. We've got to get Ezra Bridger up and running. So I would get him there as soon as possible. And you just got Sith Eternal last week. Nice. Yeah, Sith Eternal. I mean, even at this GP, at least Sith Eternal, that's just an easy Qui-Gon Jinn counter at this point for me. Like, I can just throw him in there against some random team and you know you're going to win. But I definitely think I would 1000% get your Ezra up to relics and throw him with Rey. He is really, really good. Yeah, dude, I'm using Ezra. Ezra with Rey is, like, unbelievably good. Like, if you talk to anybody, you know, who's been doing that in GAC, like, it makes a massive difference in my Grand Arenas, having Ezra in there. Because you got to think, Ezra's like Commander Tano, right? It's a pseudo requirement for the GL. And the fact that you can use Ezra long before Ahsoka, like, it makes him that much more valuable. Like, Ezra basically soloed the Jedi Cal combat mission on Zepho. Like, he literally did everything for me. So I would, yeah, definitely get Ezra as soon as you can. If you have the materials to do it now, I'd do it now before GAC lock-in. Rey, Ben, Ezra is a great team for, you know, Grand Arena. Otherwise, I think you're in, like, I think I don't have any other issues with where you are, like, ships wise. I think you're in good shape. Finish off punishing one, but you're further ahead than I am, so that's fine. 5 a.m. can't sleep. Woof, man. Yeah, I think, like, this is what I would hope to see for an account of your size at this point, Robbie. Like, I think this is or Robbie, Johnny. Sorry, Johnny. I'm getting everything mixed up here. Yeah, I think this is very, very solid. You even got Luthen. Like, you've got some teams that I don't. Now, where I would say I'm, moving on a little bit is I've got my remnants already situated and stuff. So yeah, man, I mean, this is good. This is very, very good. So I would just say get Ezra as soon as possible. And then, yeah, and I'm going to say for your, for like your Balin Rex, get Great Mothers and Morgan before you get Shin and Merrick. Great Mothers and Morgan are just, they're so freaking good. Those two are, like, phenomenal. They make Conquest, they make everything easy. So yeah, make sure that you're doing that. And then obviously make sure you're saving resources for BDSM Ray. So hopefully that kind of helps give you some structure, a little bit. At your size, you don't need, I shouldn't say you don't need a review, but you've got a lot of work. Is there any way you could try using Ezra, Kat, and Ben with Ray? I mean, I know there's people doing it. And they're throwing Baby Cal in there as well. I won't do that because my Jedi Master Kenobi would get, like, way too bad. But I can at least use Ben, Ezra, Cal with Ray, and it's friggin' good. So, yeah. Alright, so next we're moving to Robbie with his review, and then we're going to go back up to Teacher Man. There's another channel member dropped his. So let's get into Robbie James's account. Test right. Oh, it's... I should have known, Robbie, I forgot that you're, I forgot that you're Tesseract, or else I would have, like, that just, like, popped in my head now. Now I feel very, very stupid, because it is in there. Alright, so, just in case, focus now on Inquisitors with Reva on the way. So in 2 months, we're going to be getting Reva. Oh, man. So you're going to be unlocking Reva in 2 months? Is that the... Yeah, Farmstar, yeah, so Super Chat... Sorry, guys, I always got to cut in when I see this. Super Chat and channel members to me are synonymous, right? Like, you're both, one of you's paying a monthly, the other one's paying for the review. So, like, the free reviews only happen if I run out of channel members and Super Chats. So... Like, I will, if you are a channel member and asking for one, or you are a, super chat, like, I will do it regardless of how tired I am or how, whatever the situation is. Like, I will do it because that's what you do. So yeah, you joined obviously you joined a really good guild. Oh, man, Johnny, thank you, my friend. You did not have to do that. You are a channel member. You did not need to do that, my friend. Thank you so much. That is very generous, my friend. So we've got Jabba here. I gotta go through. I didn't even realize you could like these things. That is awesome. I'm gonna throw hearts on all that stuff. I didn't realize I could do that. Okay, so Reva. So you weren't planning. So you weren't planning on Reva. That's okay then. So I'm okay with getting back to Robbie's account here. So I'm okay with that because, like, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you get Reva, you could level her up, and then, you could potentially, like, use her to get Grand Inquisitor, and it would be a hell of a lot easier. So, like, I wouldn't hate that situation at all. Farmstar with the $10, my friend. Thank you, sir. I will get down here very soon. So Robbie, I do want you to push Commander Tano. I'm looking at everybody. I've been looking at everybody's account and kind of saying, hey, we should be doing this. So I would push Commander Tano before any of your Inquisitors. Again, I feel like a I don't even know, a broken clock or whatever it is. I don't know what the hell the phrase is. Broken record. That's what I was looking for. Damn it. But I feel like you've got to get Commander Tano. with Ray, Ben Solo. It's just going to make your account a lot better there. So that's absolutely something I would add to your list. In terms of your next, so like Inquisitors, I'm fine as the next big project. And then in terms of anything else here, begin farming for your Leviathan. Begin shard farming that. Just get the ships ready. You're kind of like I had put in the mid-game farming guide video. You're at that point where you're probably getting closer and closer to Malgus, and Fury class. So like I think that makes a ton of sense. And then said Seer's on the list, so that's good. So that adds Malicos. But honestly, I'm going to say the one thing that I would try to table if you can, or try to really make a priority, is get these guys, you know, Enoch, Death Trooper Pretty, and Night Trooper. Their assault battle rewards you a lot of Kyra tech. Get them, even if you're not thinking about Ahsoka, if they drop as raid requirements, I want these on the list ahead of Seer. So if that kind of makes sense, if these are not raid requirements, you can put Seer ahead of them. But if they're raid requirements, put them ahead of Seer. They're going to be far more beneficial to you than that tier. Yeah, any level of members. Yeah, so yeah, what I'm going to say is don't, like, over-invest in the raid, in anything that you think could potentially be in the raid, until you know, right? Like, I think there was a bunch of players who maybe did some things for the Battle for Naboo raid that wasn't the best investment. So I would just wait to see what those requirements are. Like, still farm the remnants regardless, because they're good characters, but I would not be throwing anything crazy on them until we know for certain what that raid is and what it looks like. Kind of like, you know, like I'm looking here at, like, your, you know, Master Qui-Gon Padawan Obi-Wan at Relic 7. I love that. That is like the standard for me for that Duel of the Fates assault battle. Newt killed you. Yeah, Newt's not I mean, I love the Maul Sid Newt Gunray team because it's so cheap, but yeah, it's never a fun experience. The last thing, maybe the last, like, little bit of thing you could do here would be beginning to plan ahead for like a Bo-Katan Mandalore. Just kind of put that on your list. You've got, I mean, Mel, you've got Padme down here too. I wouldn't hate Padme entering the account, to be honest. We could, especially, I'm looking here, like, you don't have Queen Amidala. I don't know when that's going to happen. So you could even get Padme up and Master Qui-Gon Padawan Obi-Wan fit in there, or go build Morgan Great Mothers and then take advantage of those random Night Sisters. So something along those lines where you're going to build another team that requires some Zetas but gets you a lot of stuff. I would probably say with General Skywalker, hold. So you need a lot of Zetas on the clones, a lot of Zetas on General Skywalker, and while he's very good, a lot of us, Rabid Beaver had said the same thing. We were kind of talking when we took over Three Scoundrels, like, all of us were kind of saying, we're normally not really pushing, you know, like, we're not pushing General Skywalker right now. So I would probably say let's focus on some other things other than General Skywalker for the moment, until you're in that position where you kind of have this overabundance of Zetas, which I know that sounds crazy, but I promise it will happen at some point, where you'll begin to feel like you have Zetas to equip, and it's like you guys always used to ask me when you'd get, like, a Zeta, you're like, Phil, I have a Zeta to equip, who do I do it? And it's like, no. But yes, yeah, Cat, Grand Inquisitor Reva, Imperial Remnants, Levi ships, I think that's the best plan. I think that will give you a lot of benefit. You'll basically get, because with those Inquisitors, like that is such a great team for so many friggin' game modes. And you'll be able to earn extra get to for your guild, but a lot of good combat missions out of them. Like, I can't speak highly enough. Yeah, sit on those Zeta. I mean, I guess sit on the Zetas until you get Bane and BDSM Ray, and then let's start equipping them. And then throw one, if you have gear to spend on Commander Tano, throw one Zeta on her own path here. We can do that. So yeah, man, I think that's the plan. And when obviously we'll get, as we continue through, if stuff comes up, you know what to do. Hit that @FatPhil Discord. Kat only needs one. She only really needs the one. If you don't have Jedi Master Kenobi, she only needs one Zeta. So yeah, don't fret too much on that one. Bakunawa, I don't know. If someone don't like GAC at all, is it fine for them to skip SK and Malicos? Would save up a ton of Omicrons. Yes. As someone who does not like territory wars, right? None on Juhani. I have a Relic 8 Admiral Trench with no Omicrons. I have a Relic 7 Dark Trooper Moff Gideon with no territory war Omicrons. I have the, Great Mothers with no Omicrons. Like, yeah, if you don't like a game mode, don't feel like you have to put Omicrons in it. Like, I don't have any territory battle ones. I have a few territory wars, but, like, my guild doesn't take it seriously enough that it matters. But, yeah, if you didn't have to, like, don't spend the Omicrons if you don't like the game mode. It doesn't matter, And honestly, in Grand Arena, Datacrons are literally just as important. So, no, Robbie, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Your guys' support means the world to me. So we have Farmstar with a $10 coming in here, but right before him, I think there was Teacher Man who was asking a question up here. So let's get his going. So he came in right after Robbie, and then we've got Farmstar with the $10, my friend. So that was, let's get up here to Teacher Man. And we just got a new channel member, Wyatt Tincher. Thank you for joining, my friend. All right, so Teacher Man said, after Leia and BDSM Ray, what order? We'll be unlocking Reva, Malicos, Maul, and Luthen, year away from Malgus. All right. So, after Leia and Ray. So, I would say Reva first. Reva, definitely. Malicos, only if you build up the rest of the Seer Junda team. We can skip Malicos if you're not building up everybody else. Right? You can, like, with Malicos, the problem is you kind of need to build Seer, you need to build Fulcrum, and the other just side of that as well is you normally have to throw a dark side unaligned force user tank, which means you're going to get somebody like, you got to steal Kylo Ren and Master for your Kylo team, which sucks, or we've got to pull Ninth Sister. So just some food for thought there that, like, a lot of work there for Malicos. With Maul, I probably hesitate for you because you don't have Lord Vader or the rest of the dark side Mandos. So Maul's kind of one of those where he can be really, really good, but just not great. Kind of one of those things where you've got to do some extra work there. Now, Luthen is interesting for a lot of you, because I do think Luthen with Mon Mothma can be pretty solid for some of you. And the nice thing with Luthen is that he only has one Zeta. So in terms of conquest units, he's kind of a unicorn where he's going to be pretty, for one Zeta, he might make a difference. The only other one Zeta Conquest unit, though, is Boba Fett signed to Django, and I don't know if that bodes well for Luthen or not. I know Luthen with his Datacron is really good right now. Once that disappears, we're going to have to, see how that works. And it might even be a little bit till we get a full picture of Luthen, because this next Datacron set has another Rebel level 6. So there's, like, additional help for Luthen there. And then Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, I'm all for. I love Jedi Knight Cal. If you're going to be getting him, your Seer is going to need to be Relic 7 anyway, so that kind of helps you with that. And then Jedi Knight Cal can go with your Jedi Master Luke team, and you'll be in a really good spot there. I know Zetas are pretty short for you, aren't they, Teach? Right? I think you're pretty low on Zetas. Okay, Saw's right there. Okay. Yeah, so you still have to work on Tarful and Saw, but otherwise, and Seer, but you've got a few things done there for Jedi Knight Cal. Yeah, so if we're short on Zetas, let's kind of focus on the stuff. Yeah, out of Zetas, yeah. So let's focus on, waiting around potentially for our, Reva. And then from there, we can kind of reevaluate, if you will. I think that's going to be probably your best bet moving forward. So just kind of let's wait for our conquest units. Let's get Reva, and then Leia. Kind of equip those Zetas where they're going to be impactful. So I wouldn't do anything crazy with Zetas. Like, even if you get a bunch of them, just hold on and kind of do the math of how many you do and don't need. That's gonna be my advice, at least. I think with Zetas, for a lot of you, it's just gonna be really figuring out where the hell they should and shouldn't go. And the nice thing for you is you do have some characters that are gear 12 or lower gear that you could potentially equip more resources onto. Sith Eternal, like, I would get him to relics. I know you've got a lot of work to go there, but it could really help. So that's kind of my thought for this account. I do want to check your mods real quick. 322. That's a nice mod. Now, you have a broken set here. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but that is a broken set. Same thing here, another broken set. Do you intentionally break these sets? Like, that's more like it. That's a complete set. So I would just say, if you can, let's maybe focus on getting some mod slicing materials as well with your extra crystals when you can. Because you are going to want to be able to farm stuff. Okay, it's for the Reva mission. Okay. That's fine. I know some people do that. I didn't use the, it's been a minute, but, once you get Reva, you just use her in the mission, and it gets a lot easier. But even before that, I had stopped changing mods just because I got lazy, and it was fine. But anyway, yeah. Otherwise, man, let's kind of focus on getting some of your mods sliced up, so that way, when we do get these new characters, they're firing on all cylinders. Like, some of those mods, like this one, like I'm looking at, like, oh man, that's a really good mod. That has potential. This has potential. So there's a couple where I'm like looking at them like, man, this could be really good. We just need to slice materials for it. So let's make that a goal for the account in 2025, is get you some better, I want to say better mods per se, some more sliced mods, and then we can kind of work from there. So, any other questions that you have there? I'm just looking at, you've got your punishing one. You're a year away from Malgus, so we don't need to worry about Leviathan for a bit. Which is of all the things, that's a nice place to be, right? Where you don't have to worry about something. Even if it is in the future, it's still, it's like a worry about tomorrow's things. Yeah, getting Java will help a lot with your mods. Just having the slicing materials is a big part of that. So, yeah, dude, I think you're okay here. You're buying the bundles, which is fine. Everything else will start clicking here, and then eventually Zetas will come your way. It's just gonna take 53 years thanks to the Zeta economy. So, and if you've got anything else, again, my man, you know where to go. All right, next we've got Farmstar with the $10. Yes, side farm your Sith ships just to the point that by the time you're going to get Malgus and Fury class, you are in a position that you can at least make it. So yeah, it's only health mods with Java, but it's the mod slicing materials with it. So the thing with the Java is that I don't like when people say, oh, I need it for the mods. But what Teacher had a bunch of very good speed mods kind of sitting on various characters that just needed sliced up. And that's where Smuggler's Run 2 can really help. Is getting you access to those slicing materials to make the mods that you do have, your good ones great, your great ones god tier, and vice versa. So, all right, next is Farmstar. Have 7 armies to apply and don't know what I want to do with them and looking for relics to improve on. Jeez, 12.6 million, man. Holy cow. Wow, I'm like honored to be doing an account of this size. Holy shit. All right. Omicrons to apply. Are you in I don't know this guild off the top of my head, right? Is your guild territory war focused or not so much? Because I'm just looking, I don't see a ton of, territory war Omicrons jumping out at me. Luthen. Getting there, farming. Okay. So yeah, maybe if your guild really loves territory wars, maybe thinking about some territory war Omicrons, but from a GAC perspective, the Night Trooper one could be good. Saw Gerrera, because you have Luthen up there, maybe getting Saw Gerrera to that point could be really helpful for your account. I feel like those two are going to kind of go hand in hand a little bit. Let's see, who else has got some Omicrons to equip? You're like slowly running out of GAC ones. Just like, I don't see a ton that are like popping out at me like, holy crap, you're missing it. I think Morgan has one, but I don't know how good. I'd say I don't quite know how good that is or isn't. The Dash Rendar Omicron, at our GP it might not be the best, but it's helpful. I mean, if you really had to throw one on Afra, you could, right? I wouldn't hate throwing one on Afra at your GP, especially if you're someone who goes heavy into Datacrons. That could help you take out some bigger teams. But yeah, I mean, I'd say you're probably at that point where it's going to begin to get to territory wars. I would say Boundless Force Throw. I would throw this one on. I really like this for Starkiller. I think it does help make him a lot more consistent against Rey teams with, say, JTR, where she's gaining all sorts of evasion. That Boundless Force Throw is super important for me. That's like I live by that Omicron. Oh, excuse me. Otherwise, maybe just consider saving them for, you want to save probably a couple for the new Rey, right? I mean, with her coming out, we're going to want to be saving that. And then relics, and I'll go with relics that you could potentially increase here. So maybe like your K2 could be a good one. I'd probably consider, I'd even consider something like Luthen, get him to Relic 7 for the Rebel Fighter special mission, both him and Saw. Take them to Relic 7, that'll get you some extra help in TB. K2 and Baze, yeah, that's solid. That's sound. That's sound. Maybe even Embo to Relic 7 just to kind of match the rest of the Hutt cartel that you have going on there. I wouldn't be against that one either. You know, mercenaries. I mean, you could think about Shin and Merrick to Relic 8 to kind of match Balin. Again, I don't know how good that team is in like a territory battle situation where does that make a difference or not? You know, I personally don't know. But maybe getting them to Relic 8 could be super beneficial. And then probably for somebody of your size, I would also say that I'd get Captain Enoch, Night Trooper, and Death Trooper Peridia to Relic 9. I think, or consider it, right? Consider making that change happen. At our level now, those are the kind of things that you're looking at and saying, yeah, I probably should do this just because because they are good and because like it's going to make my account significantly better, right? So that's just kind of where my mind goes. It's not to say that you have to do it, but at 12.6 million, you're beginning to run out of stuff. Maybe it makes sense to, you know, increase your stuff there. And Relic Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper is good. And it'll give you the potential to run 2 full Imperial Remnant teams in Conquest. That I don't know if that's super important to you, but I do like that. That can run extra Remnant teams and, you know, do good things with. But otherwise, man, I don't know that I got much more stuff for you. Like, I feel like you're ahead of me in terms of where your account is in the game. Yeah, you can't justify the keypads if they're not the raid. I get it. That's probably where I am, to be honest. If I see them in the raid, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and cry myself to sleep later. But otherwise, dude, I mean, this is a very solid account. I'm kind of nervous to see how fast everybody is. 369 speed on Commander Tano, going over to 342. Okay, that's pretty solid. Definitely a drop off here, but that's pretty normal. CLS 320. Okay, so I would definitely try to maybe consider getting some good mods. Focus on slicing some mods here, just so you don't have these big jumps down. You know, Dash at 303, and then moving down to BB-8 at like 297. And I thought, like, I would definitely consider trying to get some better speed mods, only because, you know, ideally, like, your Dr. Aphra here is 304, which is a solid speed, but she's already pretty quick, and, you know, you're using the speed set there, and just for perspective, I'm not trying to super brag, but just for perspective, mine's 307, and I'm using a full potency set, you know, all potencies. So I would maybe for your account, while trying to focus more on, you know, relics, let's try to hammer those mods a little bit and see if we can get some better mods going there. Because again, at our size, there's not a million things to work on in terms of characters, so you've got to make those upgrades where you can, and I think mods could be a big part of that for you. Definitely focusing on the speed and the offense mods first. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people where they kind of neglected mods, and now they're, you know, I don't want to say paying for their sins, but they're going back and having to make changes. So yeah, I get it. You know, it's never a fun situation, but I would definitely consider trying to, you know, just work on them. Again, don't even worry about, like, I don't want to say necessarily going team by team. Just pick, like, a, you know, think of a character like Balin. What are the mods that he needs? And then if I get good mods for him, great. If not, I can move them down to somebody else. And that way you're kind of always benefiting from trying to find the right mods for a specific character. And once they get to a certain point, right? This is maybe the key point with modding is once they get to a certain speed threshold or stat threshold, just move on. Don't try to get them any more perfect. Just let them go. Maybe you find something that works, but like, what's an extra 1% offense or defense or health or, 3 extra speed? Like, it's, to a certain extent, don't kill yourself over small gains. Look at the big picture. So I think that's what I have for you. I would say with some of those Omicrons, just kind of save them until we get more of these characters in here. And then for your relic levels to improve, I think it's just kind of waiting around for that raid, unless you want to get a head start in territory battles. So, excuse me. Yeah, man, it's kind of what I'm thinking there, Farmstar. If you have anything else, please let me know. We're going to move over here to Wyatt Tincher, who joined on the council. There is the ally code. All right, Wyatt. Oops. There we go. What are we thinking, my friend? All right, so we've got a... It's so crazy, excuse me, seeing so many players with like the Dr. Afra characters now. I'm still not used to seeing like Hondo in everybody's account like that. It's just something like you weren't used to it. It's like culture shock. I don't know how else to explain it. So TB, because Wyatt joined the council and like a bunch of the guys, like I've only gotten to channel members and people who've paid up. So so Wyatt was 3 million up until 3 months ago. Holy yowza. So we've made some massive changes. Yes. That is one thing. Allie, great shout. Good job, Allie. Everybody say thank you to Allie for that. That's a great... So if you are... make sure you guys join the Discord here. Pin message. That should work. So make sure you guys join the Discord. And then if you link your YouTube and Discord together, you'll automatically get to the members only section. And that way you can ask questions that come up like as you're working through. That's where a lot of these... like. Some of the guys, you'll hear them say, as we discussed, like it's through my, members only section of the Discord where they get to ask those questions and kind of get, answers right away. So we're working on Jabba here and then working on Executor now and then Jabba. Okay, sorry, I misspoke. So working on Executor and then Jabba. All right, so let's check the bounty hunters here. All right, so punishing one is in good. Like I'm glad to see Bam. I'm glad to see punishing one. IG 2000 obviously got to get that up and running, but that's not the end of the world there. You've got TFP, you've got Vader. All right, so now you're just kind of waiting around for relics on. Looks like it's TFP for sure. I saw he was gear 12. Piet's relic 5. All right, so we got to get Piet there. And then looks like we just need IG 88 to relic 5. So not terribly far in the grand scheme of things. Do need to do some, do need to do some of that extra work for the relic 8s on Boba and Piet, but it's not an impossible task. So I'm assuming, Wyatt, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that, in terms of Zetas, we are at an all-time low. Just going based off of not all the Zetas on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, none on Kylo Ren Unmasked. Is that a fair statement that Zetas are something that are in very low supply for us? Yep. Okay. Really low on Zetas. So, yeah. Here's where um here's where I would maybe think about next is, so once you get Kylo and finish off his Zetas, right? Because like at this point you're still working on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Once you get Zetas on Kylo, let's think about maybe trying to go for GL Ray. You know, you've got a lot of the resistance already. So getting, excuse me, ugh, excuse me, getting Ray again just kind of helps secure this. Again, I'd still get Executor before Ray. I'd still go Executor before Ray. But once we get Executor, I think maybe we circle back down here, try to get Galactic Legends Ray. Simply because we're close, right? Because you're close, because the impact that she'll bring to your account, I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, you did invest heavily into General Skywalker here. So then you have gas. I would honestly consider getting the clones to relic levels. You don't need the Zeta on Echo or Arc Trooper. I would recommend getting them on Captain, on CT Rex, on Clone Trooper Rex. I would recommend some Zetas here, but that's a team that you could increase some relic levels on. Hold on. NS, the only reason, hold on guys, sorry, I wanted to pause there. NS, the only reason I deleted your message is because you only ever want to show your ally code. You only ever want to show your ally code, which is the 9-digit number. You never want to share the other one. The other one is your player ID. Sharing that is not a good thing. So yeah, we want to be working on getting, yeah, so anyway, going back to the roster review here. Sorry, Wyatt, but whenever I see something like that, I want to make sure that we get there right away. So yeah, NS, don't think I don't want you joining in chat. I don't want you sharing that. It's like sharing your social security code. You just don't do it. So yeah, once you get to the 501st, get Rex, I would argue that you could do some stuff here. Like once you kind of looking at Zetas, 501st might not be an awful option to hold you over until you're able to get Ray. But I think with where you're at, it's going to be tough because you're low on Zetas. I think the biggest, with Zetas, it's so hard because there's not a lot of teams that you can build or characters. Like, even like Kaidi Mundi, right? He really needs that Zeta. So the other thing that we can do then instead is pick out some of these characters. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about Sith Eternal. Yeah, don't worry about Sith Eternal. That's not worth it. Just not worth it. It doesn't matter. Atticus with a $10 and joining Wampateer. Thank you, my friend. You were too generous. Way too generous, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. You are next. You are next in the review order, my friend. Yeah. I like if you were farming Leia, how close are we? Like when we say that, how close are we? So we still need R2D2. Yeah. So you still have to do the big cojones and need the Zetas on them as well. Holy, yeah. So let's ignore Sith Eternal for now. Let's ignore Sith Eternal for now. we've got to get Kylo's Zetas under control. You've got to get Executor, secure the bag in Fleet Arena. Once you do those things, I'd probably say let's get Rey kind of working here, because you're not horridly far from clearing that event. And then I think circle back and get your 501st. Because you've invested in General Skywalker, I want you to do the rest of the investment for this faction. But I just don't know that I'm willing to do that before Rey. If you wanted to do it before Rey, I don't hate it. But at 6 million GP, you've also got Proving Grounds now. So having some GLs to get through that could be really helpful. So yeah, I just, the Zetas are such a problem. That is the biggest problem I'm seeing time and time again on these reviews, is just how miserable those make people. So yeah, why? I mean, before the Lightspeed bundles, I get going for Leia. Like, you probably would be there by now if you didn't have to buy all the, I shouldn't say if you didn't have to buy all the bundles, because you didn't have to buy any of them, but, is it worth going for Rey before Jabba? Ooh, good question. No. I would get Jabba before Rey. I didn't realize, I must have missed that you were that close to Jabba. I would get Jabba before Rey. I definitely, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I would get Jabba before I would get Rey. And I'd say the nice thing with that is it is less Zetas, because you only need one on Chrysanthemum, Lando, and Coors Light Leia. And then, the ones for Jabba, which Jabba and Rey cancel each other out, but Rey needs all these extra Zetas on other characters because that's the way that she is. So yeah, I would argue I do like that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad, because I would have probably missed that you were that close to Jabba. So yeah, I think and you already have the Chrysanthemum one, thanks to I would assume that's a bundle one, just based on, the rest of the level 7s and no mods and stuff. But yeah, I think getting Jabba makes the most sense there. And I'm just going to assume mods are a problem as well, just based on what I saw with some of the Lightspeed bundle things. So what I would say is just make sure we're working on acquiring mods, right? To the best of your abilities, make sure that you are acquiring mods. Make sure that we are, making that progress, that you are actively trying to improve the parts of your account that need it. And I think mods are that next step. You're at that point in the game where mods will start making a big difference in Grand Arenas and other things, that beyond just like, oh, they've got 8 GLs and I don't have any kind of thing. So is there anything else you got for me, my friend? Otherwise, we're going to move over here to Atticus. All right, I think we're going to move over to Atticus here. Why? If you do have something else, please let me know. You can always, once you join the Discord, tag the mods, tag myself, and if you've got other questions, like I'm always there to try and help. That just depends on tomorrow, obviously, with New Year's Eve might be different, or I guess technically later today. But yeah, we'll get that sorted. All right, next we've got Atticus. All right, we got pretty good account here so far from what I see. So, with BAM today, I have bought all Lightspeed bundles, rejoined the game in March at 1.8 million. Holy cow. Holy cow. Doing Jedi Knight Cal Kestis for Rise of the Empire. This Proving Grounds unlock Malicos. Doing Sears Ufu with Jedi Knight. Now, after not sure, have 4 GLs almost. ready. Holy cow. All right. So, holy cow. All right. All right, so what you have Jedi Master Kenobi, and you've got Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I'd assume an almost GL has to be... Oh, I'm in the wrong category there. Okay, so we're almost at Rey. I am thinking intently here. I just because I went silent doesn't mean like I'm thinking intently here on how to make sure that I get this the right way here. So I think I would go for Jabba first. Yeah, so I think Jabba would be the first galactic legend I would go for. I think Jabba would make the most sense. And then you can go right into Jedi Master Luke. I feel like those two, again, a lot of their recs kind of tie in because of Jedi Knight Luke. And I think Jabba will probably help you, especially with your mod situation. And then you said you're sharding the Leviathan ships, which is good. So yeah, I think that makes like that's solid, right? I think sharding Leviathan now makes a ton of sense, and you've got like, you know, obviously you're not afraid to spend a little bit, which is definitely going to help you in the long run. I would say yeah, Jabba then JML. And then what I will say though is that at the GP you're at now, I would just begin making sure that you're potentially ready to make some investments in the raid. So, and again, I keep going to the remnants. I really hope these guys are part of the raid because it makes that assault battle so much easier to swallow the Relic 9 that I want to equip more than anything. So the next thing I would potentially consider is once you get those guys, you know, you can get your Rey. So the Eternal we can eventually get. We don't need to, you know, go crazy there. But you've also got the conquests and the proving grounds going on now. So you're gonna want to make sure that we get some of those lifter units squared away. And I'm hoping because you have Kylo that you've been trying to take this conquest with BDSM Rey as seriously as possible, so that we can get you know, the Kylo lifter as, you know, into the account, get that up and running, and that should maybe help you with some of those tougher counters that are existing. Otherwise, the one thing I'll say, and I know this is something, you know, it gets nitpicky, but like I would have avoided the Relic 9 on Kenobi. It looks really cool, but like that Relic 9 could have gone to some better uses. And the other situation here is your Snips is only Relic 5. So, and this is just a lesson I try to teach when I can. The first character that people are going to target in that team is Snips. And they're just going to try and kill her right away. Right? So, because Snips is so low, it actually makes Commander Tano an easier target. So that's one thing to think about there. Yeah, having 4 R9s saved up is good. Keep them saved. Don't worry about spending the Relic 9s now. Let's wait and see what else happens in the game. And you may want to use some of them on some of these capital ships. And you got to think, too, the Relic 8 materials along with that is what's crazy, right? That you've also got, you know, the 4 Relic 9s, but technically the materials for 8 Relic 8s. So, yeah. So, Otherwise, yeah, I would love to, yeah, Relic 7 Snips, she kind of matches everything else. I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense there. The last thing I would say maybe for this account, Atticus, is once you're gonna find it kind of hit a point where you'll probably be like, okay, I have no Zetas, but I'm gonna start getting other things. When you start getting that point where you really don't have the Zetas, the biggest recommendation I can give to you is start building all the other like relic levels, like Snips. You know, increase some of the stuff for territory battles. Get to the point that you can do more missions in Rise of the Empire earlier, and your account will progress a lot more. You'll begin to reap a lot more rewards out of those things, simply because your account's growing. So just some food for thought there as well, that like, if you do hit that Zeta wall and you're like, I have no idea where to go from here, I definitely think that maybe doing some relic increases to just get more CMs done will be important. So, yeah, that's kind of where my head is at. Is there anything else you kind of had in mind? Because I like with you coming back when you did, it is a great time in terms of catching you up on a lot of the stuff that came out with some of these bundles, and it's just going to be a Zeta crunch for you. Like looking at Starkiller. Normally this used to pain me. I understand now. Like back in the day, I would have cringed and been like screaming at you that this is unacceptable. But I understand now that the way these bundles have shaken out, it's one of those things that's just going to be a problem. So, yeah. You know, whenever you can get around to characters with Zetas, it's great. But, you know, whenever you can work on a character who doesn't need one or already has them, and it's spending time increasing their relics, that's also brilliant too. That can help. So does that kind of answer your questions? Is there anything else you're thinking of? You have a few Relic 6, yeah, ROTE, yeah, just wait, man. The worst Relic assignments in Rise of the Empire come when you start hitting the Relic 7 tiers, and they're like, hey, Platoon 8 Galactic Legends. It's misery. Absolute misery. So, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to take a quick bio break here, and then I will be back on to we've got NS with the $10, and we've also got Joe Balls with a $5 super chats. Get to those roster reviews here. Yeah, you guys are keeping me working. I like it. Oh, good last question, Atticus. Yeah, main thing, is it worth me doing the new characters as soon as they come out? Not spending, but sharding immediately. So, yes and no, right? The problem with some of these newer characters is, so in terms of signal data, right? So just to, again, I don't know how long you have it. You probably remember it from like the Kenobi days. From a Kairatech perspective, you're still going to spend a ton of Kairatech on these new characters, right? They all take Kairatech. but they take just as much signal data as the old ones. The thing with these new characters is that most of them coming to the game are built around, most of the characters in the game are kind of built around a journey guide character of some sorts. So, if you're not going to be able to go for the journey guide, I don't know that it makes sense to build like Shin and Merrick per se. But maybe, the characters like, and I'll use the Night Sisters here, Morgan and Great Mothers, combined with the OG Night Sisters can be a very good team. So, just something to consider again there, that like there are some times where those new characters can really be worth it if you're not going for the full GL or journey guide, and other times not so. So it just depends on the way that kind of shakes out. So hopefully that gives you some little bit of guidance. I'd probably say in your case, I'd focus on catching up before worrying about the new things right away. Because a lot of the new characters take an obscene amount of Zetas. It's just not a fun experience. It's not a fun. Everybody needs at least one, if not more than that. So, yeah, never a fun time. All right, we're going to move on here to NS. Put their ally code down rather than the, rather than the player code, which is good. Whoops. All right, Dirk Diggler. Got quite a few Lightspeed bundles. Been trying to zero in on growing mods. Jedi Knight Luke, Sith Eternal, and Zori for Rey. Any input would be appreciated. Okay. So, I'm just going to assume we're short on Zetas because we don't have all of them on Kylo. Which is always like... Normally when I see a GL missing a Zeta, it tells me that we're in a crunch of sorts. Yeah, so we got a bunch of those new ones. All right. So, here's the thing. Right? So I wouldn't hate going after GL Rey. Right? Now, you are short on Zetas, but you're close enough to GL Rey, like, with the relic levels, that I don't think it's a... Not going for Rey at this point in time would be a mistake when you're this close, right? When you are this close, like, you're at that point, like, Rey makes sense. I would at least try to get some Zetas and stuff on Zori because she is important. Like, that Zori team, once you can make some investment in them, they're friggin' good. So, NS, I would make sure that we're doing that. That's absolutely something to think about there. But, honestly, once you do those things, I'm thinking that you try to get Executor as a fleet. Just looking at your account and looking at where, like, what you have, what you don't have, I think you're going to want to get that Executor up and running as soon as possible. Fleet Arena is a hugely important part of this game. Executor's brilliant in Squad Arena. It's one of the more important ships in territory battles as well. And a lot of the requirements are good. Like, some of them you already have between Bosk, Boba Fett, Cad Bane. You've got Darth Vader already. Like, you've got a couple of those. Hey, they're good. Like, need Dengar in the Punishing One and IG-2000 and IG-88. But overall, some very good requirements out of that farm. And I think it will just set you up nicely to kind of continue growing that way. Now, growing mods, I definitely would say, again, like I've been telling a lot of the players, let's focus on, the 3 sets. Speed, health, offense. Characters either want to hit hard, survive, or move quickly. Speed, health, and offense, right? Those are going to be your keys to trying to catch up. You don't want to try and get those special tenacity mods for Jolie Bindo, right? Like, this is perfect. Hey, we got some health on him. Like, we're just throwing some stuff on there. That's what we want to be doing. Right, that's what makes sense. I really like that. I would probably hesitate on Sith Eternal. Like, unless you're already unlocked. Yeah, like, I would hesitate on Sith Eternal until you get Rey, from the standpoint that you're not going to have the Zetas or the gear. And Rey's a much better Galactic Legend than Sith Eternal, in my opinion. And then you said Jedi Knight Luke, so let's see what the Rebels look like. CLS, C-3PO. Okay. Where's Rolo and Captain Han? Am I just missing them entirely? Or are they not on the list? Where? Oh, there's Captain Han. Okay, I'm an idiot. And then where Rolo anywhere in here? No. So I would. Oh, there she is. Okay, yeah. So I definitely, if you're going for Jedi Knight Luke, let's get the rest of your rebels sorted here. You're gonna need her. Okay, we got Hermit Yoda, good, and then yeah. So I think if getting Jedi Knight Luke, I'm not gonna hate. I love Jedi Knight Luke. I think he's brilliant. You know, you're close there, but I think priority number one should probably be to get Rey, and then start really considering how to save for Leviathan. And kind of table Sith Eternal. Let's just table Sith Eternal for a while. Just not worth the investment. So, yeah, I think Sith Eternal just probably hold. I do like Zori, though. I would say that I would pay a bit more attention to Zori here. She's going to be a big part of that team. And then at your GP, just as we get into Proving Grounds a little bit more, as you get your Cat and your Ben Solo, make sure that we're kind of getting them ready for Galactic Legends Rey. Whenever the other thing too here, probably moving into later conquests, I would really consider using all your conquest currency to purchase Darkside Rey if she's really good, based on the testing. Like if she's testing really well, I would focus all of my energy getting BDSM Rey to put with Kylo Ren. So, just hopefully that gives you kind of some direction a little bit. I know it's not perfect, but again, these Lightspeed bundles really make it challenging. It's really just, about finding a path that fits what you want to do along with the resources you do have available to kind of make that happen, right? So, again, hopefully that helps NS. And again, if you have another question or something, like, feel free to kind of throw it in chat. I'll kind of see it here. But we're going to get to Joe Balls, which is the last, yeah. Yes, I do. Rescue Panda. I call her BDSM Rey. We've got some phrases around here that, might raise an eyebrow or two. BRG Mando's another one. Joe Balls. Was working towards Leviathan, then Jedi Master Kenobi, but now going for Jabba after the Lightspeed. Mods probably need work, though. Lightspeed bundles have drained my mods. Alright, so when we say working towards Leviathan, like, how close are we to Leviathan? Alright, you've got to finish Leviathan. You need to finish Leviathan. Leviathan is a way more important farm than Jabba. Especially, like, Jabba's really good, don't get me wrong. But if I could have Leviathan or Jabba, I'd take Leviathan. Because of the crystals. Those crystals are way too valuable. And then Jedi Master Kenobi, but then Jabba because of the LSBs. Probably need to work on mods. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so rescue. So normally I'll do free reviews if I run out of paid reviews or channel members, but we've had so many come in for channel members or through super chat that like once I finish the paid and channel members, I'm probably going to be hitting a sack here. It's 1:30 my time, and I'm going to try and stay up till midnight, you know, for New Year's Eve, which is going to be misery. I'm just not as young as I once was. Anyway, back to Joe Balls here. God, that's the second one, man, with balls in the name. I love it. We are so back. I don't hate going for Jabba. I don't hate doing that before going for Leviathan. They each have their perks. Just I hope you're really close to Jabba. From a mod perspective, let's go here and let's sort by speed. So you got good speed on Commander Tano. Let's go down to Rex. Okay, so we take a decent drop at some point there. Got a really good set on Zam. So yeah, I think what I would do is like let's take a look at like some of these mods on Echo here. Like that's where slicing up. What I would start doing is looking at some of these mods on characters. Like that's a really good one. Look at some of your mods on the characters that maybe you're not actively using, and I'd start trying to put them on the characters that you are going to actively use. Like at 9 million GP, I doubt you're using a, Gear 11 Echo. I could be wrong, but just consider moving those mods, slicing them, moving them around to people who can take full advantage. I would say that I think going after circling back around and getting Jedi Master Kenobi would still be a good idea, because you do have Commander Tano, like you have the team for him built already. One of the big detractors for recommending Jedi Master Kenobi as a solid farm from my angle is the players who don't have Cat. Right? She's kind of the linchpin to that team, and without it, they really fall apart. So I honestly wouldn't hate getting Kenobi, because, like, again, he'll, like, just completely change your, performance in many different ways. Fives, Rex, Arc Trooper. I got a whole five. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Otherwise, is there anything else I would say that you do here that you're not already doing? I'd maybe just consider thinking about your guild a little bit here and going for either Bo-Katan Mandalore, or if, and again, the big if, but if your guild is thinking of going for this raid and the, new Peridia characters are inside of it, maybe that does become a, maybe that does change your, views a little bit and does get you to, put some upgrades there that maybe you might not have done before, so that way you can score better in the raid. Because at this GP, I'm sure your guild does have some semblance of caring about the raid. So yeah, I mean, I think that gets us through all the paid reviews, all the channel members, guys, and I think I might hit the hay here, unless either NS or Joe Balls has anything else they wanted to ask, or had a question on it. I'm hitting my wall, and I've got to try and stay up for New Year's too, which is gonna be misery. Um, but yeah, I think you guys have, the accounts are these Lightspeed bundles. I'm seeing a lot. Like, it is very challenging to kind of figure out where to go because you're close to a lot of things, but you're also so far because they only moved you along via relics and not, the mods. And it's not just about like, oh, I don't have enough mods, but over the years, you not only gain mods from playing the game, but all the slicing materials along with them. So it's kind of this double-edged sword where you're losing out twice. So yeah, I'm telling you, those new assault battles, I really like them. I think it's given us a good outlet to otherwise use characters that we might not use in other, situations. I think it's really good. So yeah, I do like that. So with that, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night here. I love you all so much. Thank you again for sticking around for as long as you did. You all are fantastic people. I love you all. May the force be with you. I'll see you in the next one, and probably see you guys next year. Take care.